And visual recording is being taken of this meeting. This means that your presence at and any contribution you make to the meeting may be collected, used, disclosed or published publicly by the Council, including transferring outside Australia.
The City of Adelaide acknowledges the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. We acknowledge and honour their spiritual and cultural stewardship of this country and recognise their deep and enduring relationship with the land, waters, the sky and all living things. We pay our respects to Kaurna elders past and present and recognise the important role of emerging leaders in sustaining and strengthening culture. The Council acknowledges also the vision of Colonel William Light in determining the site for Adelaide and the design of the city with its 6 squares and surrounding belt of continuous parklands, which is recognised on the National Heritage List as one of the greatest examples of Australia's planning heritage. We pray for wisdom, courage, empathy, understanding and guidance in the decisions that we make, while seeking and respecting the opinions of others. May we in this meeting speak honestly, listen attentively, think clearly and decide wisely for the good governance of the City of Adelaide and the well-being of those we serve. Now I'll ask all those present to stand in silence in memory of those who gave their lives in defence of their country, at sea, on land and in the air. Thank you. Please be seated. I ask you now if there are any apologies or leave of absence. I don't have any information about leave. I'm sorry?
An apology from Councillor Giles.
I've received an apology from Councillor Giles, it should be noted. Can I ask if someone would move confirmation minutes? Councillor Snape has moved them. Deputy Lord Mayor has seconded. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest? Deputy Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor, I declare a general conflict of interest in relation to item 12.3, Behavioural Standards Panel Investigation Outcome. The nature of my interest is I am one of the council members directly identified in the panel's report as having been subjected to and affected by former Council Davis conduct. I intend to remain in the chamber, participate in consideration of the item and vote if necessary. I'll fill out the form. Also, can I also add that item 15.4, I have a statutory declaration that I would actually like to submit as well. I was not the source of the disclosure of the actual Behaviour Standards Panel report, and I've actually gone to the extent of actually doing a stat dec and getting it certified by my lawyer, and I will be submitting that, and I hope that that will be dealt with.
Lord Mayor, point of order. Is this in regards to her conflict or is this a statement? Sorry.
And the reality that there's another conflict perhaps on 15.4. Yes. There are two possible conflicts.
Possible conflict and a stat dec that I've actually had organised, and I will submit that to administration.
Can I just ask some advice? I think I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. What am I doing? Just a moment. They should both be on?
Yes.
I apologise for everybody having to listen to these pinging noises. Councillor Freeman.
Well, I think actually might be one that needs to be slight.
Oh, you're responsible for the noise. Sorry, is Councillor Freeman attached to the system? I'm sorry, I think you might be disconnected at the moment. Councillor Freeman, could you just give us a moment while we sort out the wiring? Councillor Snape.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. And likewise, I also declare a general conflict for item 12.3 as also being named as one of the councillors affected by former Councillor Davis's behaviour mentioned in the report. I will also remain in the chamber as it does not materially benefit me in going forward. And I'm unsure in regards to item 15.4, although I'm also happy to do a stat deck as well in relation to that. But I'm not sure if that's conflict at this point. I'll take advice from governance.
Thank you. If you've just fill out the form, we'll have records. Councillor Siebentrees, and then we'll go back and see if we can make contact with Councillor Freeman.
Thank you. Lord Mayor, I'd like to declare a general conflict of interest in relation to agenda item 15.5, which is for the School Travel Safety Implementation Plan. I'm a parent of children at Adelaide High School. I'm also a member of the Governing Council. And I will also note, Lord Mayor, it was remiss of me in the Infrastructure Public Works Committee last week not to have declared that I'm also a member of the Governing Council during that committee workshop.
Thank you. Councillor Freeman, I think you're online now.
I am online. Thank you, Lord Mayor. Okay, I am declaring a general conflict of interest with items 11, recommendation 7.2, item 12.2, 15.1, 15.2 and 15.5. All of them refer to the Department of Infrastructure and Transport in some capacity, which is where I am employed, but none of the matters are something I am directly involved with, so I will remain in the room and participate in the debate. Item 15.5, in relation to the school safety implementation plan, I also have a general conflict of interest due to being on the Adelaide Botanic High School Governing Council, though the motion does not specify that high school out of all the schools. So again, I will remain in the room and vote, and I similarly lament that I failed to declare that general conflict last week at committee.
Thank you very much. Any more conflicts? If not, we'll collect your papers. And now we'll move on to the next item. Thank you, councillors. I've approved 4 deputations this evening, 3 principals of city schools, the principal of Botanic High, North Adelaide Primary School and Adelaide High. I've also approved Ms Gabrielle Leonello, who's to support the motion on notice for Austin Street Precinct. I had 1 deputation which I've declined for Mr Stephen Fisher. That relates to the fact that he has already addressed the council on the same matter at the last meeting, so it seems inappropriate to have an extra discussion on that matter. So could I ask, just explain that for those people giving the deputations, Ms Sarah Chambers is the first one on the list, the principal of Adelaide Botanic High. Ms Chambers, are you there? Please, would you like to come forward? The orderly will move the, the metal bar. If you could come up to the lectern, thank you.
Apologies, Lord Mayor. There seems to be a very nice melody in the background. I was wondering if we could get some doors shut so that we can hear the deputation properly, because it's quite loud.
Sorry, is there music coming from upstairs, do you think? Can we shut some doors?
We'll have a look.
Actually, it is really loud, isn't it? I do apologise, Ms Chambers, I'm so sorry. We ask you to speak for 5 minutes and we can offer an extension if you don't get to the end of your speech. So please present your information.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you to the City of Adelaide councillors for allowing me to speak in front of you tonight. I'm here as the principal of Adelaide Botanic High School, As many of you are aware, Adelaide Botanic High School was designed as a city school that supports public transport, walking and cycling, and as such has no on-site parking for students or staff. So the safety of the surrounding transport network is not peripheral to the operation of our school, it is fundamental. The School Travel Safety Review, commissioned by the City of Adelaide Council, found that 61 to 65% of our students use public transport, around 8% cycle, and a further 4 to 5% walk. As at our busiest times, between 50 and 70 students can cross Frome Road and Victoria Drive intersection in a single signal phase. The City of Adelaide's Safe System Assessment confirms that the current environment presents identifiable risks, particularly for young pedestrians and cyclists. Importantly, it also provides a clear pathway forward. And implementing the full package of proposed treatments is expected to reduce the road safety risk score from 119 to 59, which would be approximately a reduction of 50%. So, as a school, we are asking the Council to progress a coordinated package of improvements across 3 priority areas. The first of these is to create a genuine school speed environment. Currently, there is no signage that identifies Adelaide Botanic High School as a school from either Frome Road or Victoria Drive. And we are requesting that, as per the report, there is an introduction of a 25-kilometre speed zone from Frome Road and Victoria immediately surrounding the school, and 30 kilometres limits on approaches to this zone. We also request that is digital time-based signage that reflects the school's actual operating hours, as these are not in alignment with regular school operating hours. Initially, as per the report, there are other speed reduction measures that have been tabled, including a raised Frome Road and Victoria Drive intersection and some bike lane slowing measures down the downhill stretch of Frome Road. Significantly, though, the report does not assess the safety of the Gate 6 intersection with Frome Road and the Lot 14 precinct. And we believe that this is a significant oversight of the report itself, as this intersection is equidistant from that between Frome Road and Victoria Drive and presents significant risk to pedestrian traffic using that intersection to access either Lot 14, the Adelaide University, or Adelaide Botanic High School. It includes some significant challenges around signal phasing and some significant visibility risks around that particular intersection. And so we're requesting an immediate assessment of the mitigations of these risks that are required to reduce the danger of for pedestrians using that intersection on a daily basis. Additionally, the road into Gate 6 has no pedestrian access alongside it, and this causes a significant risk as it is regularly used by pedestrians. The final area is the separation of students' buses and cyclists at points of conflict. And while the recent upgrades to Frome Road and the addition of the bicycle lane have reduced these risks to some extent, these risks remain, including particularly at those intersections. The report itself identifies the need to offset the bicycle stop lane to ensure at the intersections the bicycles are visible to the motorists who are also stopped at the intersection. And we also request the installation of a non-mountable curb, having particularly had a member of staff injured quite significantly recently on her bicycle, having not had this safety measure in place. There are other measures that are identified in the report, including the additional bus shelters and some floating bus stops that would again reduce the risk. So, in conclusion, we do request to Council that you consider a plan to endorse the full suite of safe system treatments, but prioritising the slowing of traffic around the school zone and the installation of signage that identify that it is in fact a school zone. Our building does not immediately identify us as a school, and so we see this as a significant risk to our students. We would like that the review of the Gate 6 safety requirements is completed as a matter of urgency. Sorry, I'm almost finished. And we would like the identification of the funding and responsibilities of those approvals required. The school will continue to educate and supervise students and promote safe, sustainable travel. However, supervision and education cannot compensate for infrastructure that places young people in unavoidable conflict with vehicle, buses and bicycles. The City of Adelaide has commissioned the evidence, and the recommended treatments could halve the assessed risk, and we're asking that the council turn that into a coordinated action plan before a serious incident makes the need undeniable. Thank you.
Submit to us.
I have a written statement of my deputation that I'm happy to submit.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
You mentioned the hours were incorrect. Could you just make sure that we know the correct hours?
I just mentioned that the hours of operation of our school differ to most other schools, and so that if we were installing the standard school zone signage, the hours would be in fact wrong. Our school does not start till 9:20 on 4 mornings a week and at 10:15 on the 5th, and we finish at 4 p.m. every day, which would mean that our time signage would not match what people would be used to seeing on those school zone signs that you see around the city in other arterial roads.
Thank you for that important information. Councillor Kouros?
Sorry, is it okay to
Did you
ask
want a question?
Yeah. I'm interested to know, because you're a relatively new school, and combined with Lot 14, the Adelaide University, wasn't there some modelling done in regards to the children's safety before this, with the plans of this school being built? Because I distinctly remember that was part of a discussion in regards to drop-off, pick-ups and all of that.
There certainly was some modelling that was done, but we've actually been open for 8 years now. So while we are relatively new, we're not that new anymore. There's also been significant changes in the school. We've had the addition of the third tower, which has increased our capacity from around 1,100 students to 1,950, which is what we could be at our peak. Additionally, the development of Lot 14 and the recent announcement of Defence HQ has indicated that the number of residents working in that space will at least double by 2029 to around 3,000.
I just have another question. So isn't there any discussion with Lot 14 and the Adelaide University in regards to the management of the whole precinct there?
We do have a group that discusses these things. However, we are seeking to be included in a coordinated approach to school safety across the city, as we are one school within that space, and to have a coordinated approach that is led by the City of Adelaide Council would enable us to work with all groups and able to action a plan moving forward and see when those changes could be expected.
So isn't there any discussions with the state government in regards to these concerns with Lot 14 and the Adelaide University and the traffic management in regards to all precincts? Is there, are they at the table?
They are at the table, yes.
Okay.
We have an integrated planning group that does discuss these things. However, it's a City of Adelaide road, and so therefore it is one of those pieces where it's not like the arterial roads where the decisions have been made. We've been waiting for City of Adelaide to be able to make some decisions around the slowing of traffic.
Thank you, Councillor Stevendred.
Thank you, through you, Lord Mayor. Thank you for the presentation, and I think you'll find that there's quite strong support for a single coordinated approach across schools around the chamber here. Just perhaps building a little bit on Councillor Kouros's question around state government involvement, are there any live funding applications with state government for any of the infrastructure components of what's being proposed?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Moore.
Thank you for speaking with us today. You mentioned the Gate 6 crossing. So the kids have to cross twice, effectively, once to get across Frome and then once again to get across Gate 6.
Depending on which point they're accessing from. Having been out there quite recently, a lot of them are travelling down the Lot 14 side of Frome Road. However, the signal phasing currently has traffic turning right into Gate 6 at the same time as the crossing being a green pedestrian person, and it causes significant regular conflict between vehicles who believe they have right-of-way and pedestrians who also have right-of-way simultaneously. Highly problematic.
And is that a problem that's caused by bus drop-off? Are they dropping off on the wrong side of the road?
No, it's not related to bus drop-off. In fact, the bus stops have been moved and they are better than they were, and that was included in that Frome Road upgrade with the bike lane addition. However, this gate was not included. I stood on the front steps of my school yesterday and it was an equal distance to the Frome Road Victoria Drive crossing as it is to this gate. We see equal problems with both of them and it simply hasn't been included in any assessment around risk to pedestrians.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm still making pinging noises here. Can I thank you, Ms Chambers, for your presentation, and we'll get back to you when we make the decision finally. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you. Is Mrs Bennett in the gallery? Yes. So you both want to come forward together? Please come to the dais then. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name. Could you just repeat it? Yes, but... Thank you. Did we get that? I'm sorry, we can't quite hear. We need to record it, if we may.
Ben Walters.
Ben Walters.
Ben Walters.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. So North Adelaide Primary School, would, again, 5 minutes if you'd like to address us. Thank you. Whichever of you wishes to take the lead.
Sure. Ben will start off.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight in front of you all. I'd actually like to have my own acknowledgement as well that we meet on Kaurna land tonight and pay my own respects to elders past, present and emerging. I acknowledge the long tradition of custodianship of this place and the responsibility that all of us share to leave it better for those who follow in our footsteps. That idea of custodianship is actually where I'd like to begin. Tonight I stand before you as the chair of the Governing Council at North Adelaide Primary School, but I also have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Governing Council at Adelaide High School. I mention that because it gives me the privilege of seeing this issue from more than one perspective, which is what we need to do here tonight. Every school represented here has genuine needs. I don't believe tonight's challenge is deciding whose needs are real. I believe it's deciding how we achieve the greatest improvement in student safety with the resources we have available to us. The question before us isn't simply how to distribute that funding, it's how we use it to create the greatest improvement in student safety. Put simply, what does equity look like? We know that the current budgeted funding won't solve every infrastructure challenge. That's precisely why this equity matters. Equity isn't about every school receiving the same outcome. It's about every school having the opportunity to make meaningful progress. So the question becomes, what does meaningful progress look like? Before I outline these ideas further, I'd like to actually acknowledge the work already undertaken by Council. We've seen genuine engagement, thoughtful consultation, and most importantly, as in tonight, a willingness to listen. These conversations build trust, and trust is what allows genuine partnership. In tandem with those conversations, at NAPS, we've continued to do everything within our own sphere of influence and control. We've established a supervised school crossing with SAPOL-trained crossing supervisors and senior student leaders, which has become a valued part of our school community. Indeed, my own son will show up early on Thursday, to proudly put on his crossing guard vest before school. He and his friends see that as a privilege to help keep their community safe. But there are things that we simply cannot control, things that even the most responsible and determined 12-year-olds have little impact on. For even when children do everything right and adults supervise responsibly, we cannot control how quickly a driver recognizes that they are entering a school environment. So for North Adelaide Primary, meaningful progress looks like 3 practical opportunities. The first is visibility. Continued support for 25 km/h speed signage and clear notice of school zone warning signage. It is a relatively modest investment that provides motorists with clear advance warning, reduces vehicle speeds, and brings North Adelaide Primary into line with other schools already benefiting from these protections. The second is behavior. A timed kiss and drop zone, another practical, low-cost initiative with the potential to significantly improve traffic flow, reduce unsafe maneuvers, and create a safer environment for children arriving at and leaving school. A timed kiss and drop zone simplifies driver behavior and reduces unnecessary vehicle movements around the school gate. The third is vision. Support the work that comes before construction. support planning. Good infrastructure doesn't begin with concrete. It begins with planning, consultation, and partnership. Even modest investment from council in planning creates a pipeline of projects that future councils can deliver. I invite you to fund design for raised crossings and flashing lights on Gover Street, and support upgrades to 10th Street Student Crossing, all of which have been pointed out in the Tonkin report in detail. As North Adelaide Primary approaches its 150th anniversary, we're reminded that every generation is simply a temporary custodian for the next. We think not just about today's students, but about what this community school should look like long after our own stewardship has ended, for our stewardship is temporary. The decisions we make here tonight and beyond are not. Some of the most significant improvements to school safety sit beyond today's budget. We've already heard it spoken about, federal and state funding. That is precisely why planning matters. This makes it critical that funding supports the design, planning, and construction work needed to bring those future projects to life. Because if we only ever fund construction, we'll all simply be waiting for the next budget. Ultimately, this is bigger than any one school. It's about ensuring every school can become safer than it is today. Every family deserves confidence that the journey to and from school is as safe as we can reasonably make it. That is the responsibility that we all share here tonight and as a community. So tonight I invite council to deliver practical improvements that make our children safer today while investing in the planning that will make future generations safer tomorrow. Because every child deserves to be seen. Every child deserves to be protected. And every generation deserves to inherit a city that is safer than the one that we've inherited. And that is what good custodianship looks like. Thank you.
Unless there are any questions, thank you. Thank you very much for
I have a nice flyer
forward.
that I can leave you all
And
to.
please give us the
Is that okay to leave
documentation.
those? There's a document
Please.
with our top priorities of what if there's enough funding, really like to see.
Thank you. We will be
I'm
pleased
happy
to
to
accept
seek
that and
leave to have
distribute
that
it. Thank you very
included
much.
in the minutes, Lord Mayor.
Could you please give it to the orderly? Thank you. And we can distribute it. Thank you very much indeed.
Lord Mayor, do we need to seek leave to have that included in the minutes?
We will have them distributed, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank you for
indeed.
giving us the opportunity to share.
Now, can I ask if Nat Palhas is here? Yes, please come forward. Adelaide High School, thank you very much for coming to speak to us. I haven't declared a conflict, even though my son went to Adelaide High, but it was some years ago. Thank you very much for coming to speak to us. 5 minutes again. Please give your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Lord Mayor and members of council, for the opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Natasha Parjas and I am the principal of Adelaide High School. Along with my colleagues, we recognise that student safety is everyone's business, and we thank you for investing in a priority for our learning communities. With 1,800 students and approximately 180 staff, Adelaide High School is a major public secondary school representing a large school community, moving through the West Terrace, Glover Avenue and Curry Street corridor every day. The City of Adelaide School Travel Safety Review final report found that of 1,554 students enrolled at the time, public transport was the dominant mode of travel, with 60 to 70% of students using it for both morning and afternoon journeys, including afternoon train travel accounting for up to 53%. These figures show that Adelaide High School is not dealing with a simple local drop-off issue. We are managing large volumes of students on foot, moving to and from buses, trains, crossings and shared paths in one of the busiest and most complex movement corridors on the western edge of the city. The report identifies several serious and ongoing concerns. These include pedestrian safety at the West Terrace Glover Avenue Curry Street intersection, double parking on Glover Avenue, students queuing in ways that encroach onto the shared use path, the unsealed school bus stop adjacent to the main entrance, unsafe pedestrian movements across Glover Avenue and traffic conflicts associated with vehicles on West Terrace. Importantly, the report states that the current crossing arrangements are inadequate for the volume of student movement. It also notes that 8 teachers are deployed in the afternoon peak to assist with student safety at the intersection. The level of staff supervision demonstrates both the seriousness of the issue and the limits of what a school can reasonably do without infrastructure that is fit for purpose. Required changes have already been identified through prior consultant work and through this final report, and yet key priorities have not been funded or addressed. These include signal modifications, shared pathway improvements for pedestrians and cyclists, and bus stop landing and access improvements. The significance of the report does not simply describe the problems, it identifies the physical changes and practical measures that can and should be progressed. Recommendations include improvements to the West Terrace Glover Avenue Curry Street intersection, including increased pedestrian storage, corralling mirrors such as fencing or bollards, a review of signal operations and pedestrian crossing times, bus stop improvements, including improved storage and access areas, reline marking of the shared use path adjacent to the school to provide clearer separation and safer interaction between pedestrians, cyclists and vehicles, measures to direct students to use the signalled crossing rather than crossing Glover Avenue at uncontrolled points, measures to address the service road egress onto West Terrace, and a review of the pick and drop arrangements on Glover Avenue. The report also refers to advocating for a 40 kilometre per hour time-based school speed limit on Glover Avenue during peak school periods with flashing lights and speed cameras. Importantly, some of these are low cost and achievable in the near term. Others are medium-term works, we understand. Together they form a practical staged program. The West Terrace corridor is shared every day by the broader community. Community members access the Royal Adelaide Hospital precinct, the parklands, the Karen Rolton Oval, the skate park and the soon-to-be Women's and Children's Hospital, and by cyclists, commuters, public transport users and visitors moving between the Western Parklands and the city. For that reason, investment in this corridor would deliver benefits beyond the school. Adelaide High School has adjusted start and finish arrangements, increased staff supervision and worked constructively with the City of Adelaide over many years. Accordingly, I respectfully ask Council to progress the immediate physical changes and low-cost measures identified in the report, commit to staged funding and implementation of the broader recommendations already outlined. The evidence is clear. Lord Mayor and members, Adelaide High School and the wider school community that shares this corridor now need your commitment, priority and delivery. On behalf of Adelaide High School, thank you.
If there are no other questions, can I just thank you? Do you have any documents you'd like to leave?
I don't, Lord Mayor.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now, if you'd like to stay, the matters that you're interested in are later in the agenda, but I'll move them forward after the last deputation, which is from Miss Leonello. Miss Leonello, thank you. Would you like to come forward? Miss Leonello is going to talk about the Austin Street precinct and area. Thank you very much. We'll also bring your item forward as well, so that you don't have to sit through the... Unless you want to, you're welcome to stay all evening. 5 minutes again.
No problem. Lord Mayor, councillors, thank you again for the opportunity to come before you again tonight. I'm hopeful that you'll pass the motion to support and look at Austin Street. I'd also like to thank, we've got a nice contingent of other residents and our committee. We've also got Peter Tunno, who is a developer and a resident of Realm, along with a trader from the Renaissance Arcade, all here to support the motion, hopefully. So since the last time I was here, we surveyed residents and we received 78 responses, which I believe you have received, like in terms of the feedback, and the findings were remarkably consistent. Residents identified concerns around lighting, cleanliness, footpaths, safety, street presentation, and the overall lack of activity in the precinct. These are practical issues that affect the daily lives of the people who live, work and visit here. Importantly, this motion isn't asking Council to commit to a significant capital investment tonight. It simply asks Council to investigate the precinct, address the issues that can be resolved immediately where possible, and return with practical costed options for longer-term improvements. I would, however, encourage Council to look beyond maintenance and see the longer-term opportunity. Austin Street is much more than a service street. It is a strategic pedestrian link between North Terrace, Rundle Mall and the East End. With thoughtful planning and investment, it has the potential to become the beginning of Adelaide's next successful laneway connection down into the East End, encouraging more people to walk through the precinct, supporting local businesses and creating a more vibrant and economically active part of the CBD. Good lighting doesn't just improve safety, it creates ambience. Better footpaths, landscaping and activation encourage people to spend more time in the precinct. More pedestrians create greater passive surveillance, improve safety and give quality cafes, restaurants and other businesses the confidence to invest where we live. These outcomes work hand in hand. There has already been considerable thought given to what this precinct could become through earlier streetscape concept that I shared with you all earlier today. Tonight's motion provides an opportunity to put Austin Street back on the Council's radar, hopefully, and begin that conversation again. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge that this has been a genuine community effort. Residents, traders, property owners, the body corporate, the committee, the Widdles have all worked together to bring this motion before Council because we all share the same objective, to create a precinct that reflects the quality and the city surrounding it. I would also like to extend an invitation to the Lord Mayor and any councillor to come and visit us at Austin Street and we can show you around and show you some of our ideas. I respectfully ask that you support our motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Do you want to leave any documents with us?
No, I think I've emailed them today.
Thank you. I think everyone was listening attentively. Thank you very much indeed. Now, I'm going to seek leave of the meeting to bring forward two of the motions on notice that reflect the discussions we've had in the deputation. So I'm going to just bring forward 15.5 and 15.3. They're the two relevant motions. So that's moved by the Deputy Lord Mayor. All those in favour? Seconded by Councillor Murray. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. So in order to keep just a slightly eccentric order, I'll do 15.5 first. I say that because the three first deputations were for 15.5. You'll notice I haven't got 15.1, but that's because I've had discussion with Councillor Kabada, who is going to defer or withdraw that. So, Councillor Freeman, 15.5, you have the floor. Do you have a seconder? Councillor, yes, Councillor Marr is seconded. And is this as printed or is it changed?
No, Lord Mayor, I'd like to move an alternative motion, please.
So there is this. This is the alternate motion, and it's not substantially different from the other one, is it? Can I have some advice? Like, is it highlighted in colour? Whoops, where is it? Sorry, you're... This looks like a totally new motion to me.
So if I could clarify.
Can I just seek, is it amended in or a completely different one? Sorry, just to help me.
Look, it's probably a relative of the original one. Just to explain.
A cousin maybe, or an auntie.
The response from the administration in the report indicated to me that I was not clear enough about the intent of the motion, which is why I have rewritten it to make it clear.
Point of order, Lord Mayor. Could it be moved?
I'm sorry, I'm just reading it. Can we just read through? I need to just check. Is this?
Lord Mayor, point of procedure perhaps. Could we break for 3 minutes to...
Can I just seek advice before we do that? Can you just tell me how this came about? I just need advice, just a moment. Is this a new motion? And
Through the presiding member, it's significantly different to the motion published in the agenda in that rather than noting the workshop that was held on the 21st of July, it's seeking to endorse in principle the priorities presented to that workshop. That is a step too far in terms of an alternative and really needs to be dealt with as a new motion on notice.
So the argument here is that can't be dealt with as a motion without notice because it's a substantial decision and it's not a matter of urgency. I'm sorry, this is very technical and rather tedious for the people in the gallery. Councillor Freeman, would you just like to give a personal explanation before we make a final decision?
Yes, happy to. So, noting that what is substantially different is the swapping out of notes to endorses is a variation to this, that part 2 is notes the priorities presented to the committee and then the remainder can proceed as an alternative.
So can I just seek clarification? Number 1 is as before.
Yes.
Number 3 is the old 4. And 4 is the old 5. So the major change, I'm sorry, just to sort of nut this out. Actually, number 4 is different again, isn't it?
Lord Mayor, can I propose that we have a short adjournment?
Well, we can have an adjournment, but my inclination, I just warn you now, is that we'll put this on notice because this is too different and it actually has significant financial issues involved. So we can have an adjournment, but I'm telling you that's what my decision is at the moment. Councillor.
Lord Mayor, if I might assist, if the mover was to simply revert and propose the motion that was lodged, that would be a satisfactory outcome for the council?
Well, I think that is acceptable, yes, but she may not wish to do that.
I am very happy to do that, Lord Mayor.
Okay, I'm so sorry that this is... We'll withdraw the motion on the screen and we'll go back to the motion that was on notice. So we won't have an adjournment for the moment. We'll go back to the original. Is this the original? Thank you. I'm sorry. Without the colour coding, I sometimes miss the intent. Councillor Freeman, it's still seconded by Councillor Marr. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for helping us through that. Look, so I've brought this motion in response to the committee we had recently about the school safety implementation plan. There's obviously a lot of interest from our community and the schools in particular about how we are implementing this. And I do acknowledge that only a month ago in the budget process did we actually adopt the budget for this plan. So there hasn't been sufficient time to determine what exactly we're spending money on. But nevertheless, for the schools, this started back in 2024 and it has been a long wait and they are eagerly awaiting some advice. The reason why, and I speak to this motion, not the other one, but what I wanted to clarify is, I think we all agree that this is really important. I think we all agree that this is really urgent. And what I did not seek to do in this motion is hold up anything that the administration has recommended. We have been told that a speed reduction is a shared priority across all schools. That's been put forward as the #1 priority for implementation immediately. I think we all agree with that. I agree with that. I don't wish to alter that. The other priorities that have been put forward to us, however, are not equitable across all schools, and there are a range of reasons why that's the case. Some of them have grant funding from the state government that's been agreed to already. Some of them are more progressed, I understand, than others. But the fact remains that unlike the speed limits, we do not have capital works being proposed immediately for all schools. And while there may be good reasons why that's the case, I think that we owe the schools an explanation about why that's the case, and furthermore, when they can expect those improvements to actually be delivered. I guess I like to use the 80-20 rule. I actually think what we've had presented to us so far is about 80% right, and I do not want to hold up the 80% to perfect the 20%, but it's the 20% that I actually think we need to give more attention. And that attention looks like talking to the schools. So again, 2024 maybe wasn't that far away from an administration perspective, but from a school perspective, we've had new principals come on board, we've had a new building be constructed, we have a new driveway that wasn't anticipated by the review. I just don't see how the 2024 advice is contemporary. So I think we need to go back to the schools, as suggested in part 4, and at least bring them along this journey, close the loop, talk about the priorities that we've landed on to get their acceptance of what those priorities are and how we act upon them. I think I'll leave it there and I'll talk more when we sum up. Hopefully that clarifies things for the Chamber.
Can I just say I asked the CEO what by Q2 meant, because that could mean by the end of Q1. He said it was sometime in Q2. And just to clarify, and I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, can the administration engage with schools, because they might choose to have joint meetings as opposed to each school? Does that matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me. We just heard earlier from a deputation that a group briefing would be very welcome. This is not prescriptive about how the engagement occurs.
Thank you. Just to be clear, Councillor Ma, you seconded.
I'll reserve for now. Thank you.
Councillor Stephen Tritt, then Deputy Lord Mayor, and we're going round the room.
Lord Mayor, I've just sent through some minor suggested additional wording that I believe will strengthen 5.2 before I speak. I've sent that through to governance.
Where have you sent it?
I've sent it through to governance, Lord Mayor. Essentially what it is to look at, in addition to looking at the engagement feedback, is to see how that can more directly feed into the selection criteria that we're using for prioritisation.
I'm sorry, is this an amendment or a variation?
Yeah, it is an amendment. You may look at it though, Lord Mayor, and think it's so minor that it could be incorporated into the existing motion. Okay, I have sent it through, Lord Mayor, but I'm happy to read it out aloud.
It's not very helpful just sending it through, because we're in the middle of a meeting and I'm not going to do this.
No worries, Lord Mayor. I shall read it out. So after the word recommendations, it would say, and what options exist for the prioritisation criteria to further reflect this feedback. All it's doing is more deeply embedding the feedback from the schools into the prioritisation criteria.
I'm sorry, we've got a new team up here and they're struggling to find your email.
I'm happy to wait, Lord Mayor. Would you like me to speak to the... Oh, we've got it?
No, because we don't know what it is and we don't have a seconder, so
okay.
I may have to call the German version. We don't know where it is at the moment. It's lost in the ether.
It's somewhere in the ether, Lord Mayor. Oh, here we go, Lord Mayor. I can see it appearing in red right before our very eyes. And so, Lord Mayor, it is relatively simple. All it is doing is, in addition to being aware of the engagement feedback and see how that's informed the recommendations, is a look at what options exist for those criteria, the prioritisation criteria, to further reflect this feedback. This comes direct...
Can I just ask if the mover will incorporate that? And if not, we'll have it as an amendment.
As a variation?
Yes.
Yes, happy to.
Seconder? Okay, it's incorporated.
Wonderful. That's...
I'm not sure what it means, but...
well, I'm happy to speak to the motion in general, Lord Mayor, and then speak to this.
Okay. You speak to the whole motion.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lord Mayor. I think one of the things I wanted to kick off by observing is that, and I mentioned this earlier on, and thank you, Ms Chambers, for talking about a coordinated approach across schools. I think the general sentiment coming out of the workshop, and again we'll see here tonight, is that's absolutely advocated for. But there are really two key things going on here, and Councillor Freeman has already pointed to this. The first one is about the speed zone component, which is priority number 1, and the second one is around infrastructure. At the risk of being a little bit cute here, one thing we don't want is priority 1 to get stuck in the slow lane. We need priority 1 around speed limits to be accelerated, and it needs to be expedited. There can be no reason to hold up addressing speed limits in school zones. And so for my mind, Lord Mayor, we need to be able to do two things at once in parallel. One is we push on with priority one. Ideally, it would be great to see some of that being implemented in the remainder of the calendar year. And then the second part is in relation to the infrastructure. And I did just want to note, in relation to the infrastructure component, we recognise that is a complex issue, and I don't anticipate we are going to resolve that in the next month or two, or even off the back of the next Infrastructure and Public Works Committee. In fact, Councillor Martin has reminded us a number of times that there is quite a significant timeframe required to implement all of those infrastructure measures. Lord Mayor, the reason I have proposed this additional amendment here is what we heard at the workshop last week when we did have some of the schools attend was their feedback on what they saw as the priorities versus what Council had seen as the priorities. They are not worlds apart, but there are some gaps, and I believe by looking at how that feedback can be further used to improve our prioritisation criteria, can narrow the gaps between what we see as the priorities and what the schools see. It is a small but meaningful change, Lord Mayor. I think the main thing for me is that we support the motion that Councillor Freeman's brought before us, that we can continue momentum on addressing school safety in the city.
I saw some hands up across the chamber. Does anyone want to speak against this motion? I'm sorry, I can't hear. Can I have the Deputy Lord Mayor, then we'll have the questions.
I have an amendment that I sent through to governance. Sorry, Lord Mayor, I know this is... but I sent it through. When? Oh, earlier today. And I took on board the administration's comments here, and I feel that I support Councillor Freeman's position and Councillor Siebentritt's position. Priority 1, 2 and 3 need to progress. There's no doubt about that. But going back to schools and discussing this with schools, we already have this process in place where...
Councillor, can I just ask you one second?
Oh, sorry.
Councillor Corros, a second.
Thank you. Where we actually have incorporated their initial discussions into the Tonkin report. Of course, there are gaps, no doubt. But my amendment is very much about progressing priority 1, 2 and 3 and requesting administration to assess the school's feedback against the existing objective, evidence-based and safe system prioritisation framework, liaising with the individual schools where there's clarification or further information that is required without delaying the deliveries of 1, 2, 3 as presented at the school travel workshop on Tuesday last week. And request administration to present an update school travel safety implementation plan capital works program to the Infrastructure and Public Works Committee by Q3, prioritising the criteria applied to outstanding measures and consideration as to the feedback from each school and administrators' responses. And what's important to me, very important to me, is establishing from 27-28 fin year a reoccurring annual school travel safety capital funding commitment as part of the annual business plan and budget process, including external funding opportunities. We do this with infrastructure on the parklands. It's really, these schools we have 11, this has been a real eye-opener to me. We have 11 schools in the city. The city's not very big. And at the end of the day, 11 schools, that's a massive stakeholders. We need to ensure that this is not just a one-off, this is continuous, that we work with them, that we look at their safety issues when we're looking at, in particular, St Mary's, I'm just picking out of the air, that when we look at that area, that's going to be a development area. There's going to be so many more people in that area. in the West End. So to actually prepare ourselves for that and to actually have good frameworks where we're communicating with these schools, the schools are communicating with each other, is really important, and being able to look at not just this one-off stuff that we're doing now, but we're looking at it long-term in our next budget, in our long-term financial plan. It's really important. So I actually believe that this is not putting more onus, my amendment is not putting more onus on the administration, but allowing them to actually address 1, 2 and 3 immediately and looking at being able to...
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was just giving advice.
Only one more minute, one tiny part of a minute. And just ensuring that we actually have better frameworks around this, and ensuring that the most important thing for our council is safety and security for our people in our city. And this is demonstrating that we will listen to the schools, that we will ensure that we're putting capital funds into this, and that we are actually ensuring that priority 1, 2 and 3 are going to be addressed ASAP, and that nothing else is going to hold that up. Thank you.
Thank you. A second, Councillor Couros.
So, point of order, Lord Mayor. I hate to do this.
No, please give us your point
I think
of
we're
order.
all on the same page here, but just procedurally, I'm trying to understand how this is an amendment and not an alternative motion, considering the requirement to engage is gone, it's establishing a funding commitment. Just seeking your advice about how this warrants an amendment and not an alternative motion.
I think that I've asked, and I don't think it is a direct negative. Part 6 does suggest establishing a fund in out years.
Through the presiding member, that is a matter that wasn't contemplated by the published motion, and our advice to Councillor Noon is Part 6 should be the subject of a future motion on notice.
Or should it be a report on the establishment? Would that deal with it?
I'm happy to put forward a future motion on notice, but I imagine that there wouldn't be many councillors around this table that would not support this as part of...
Through the presiding member,
thank you. We'll just work out if we can tidy it for you.
It's about whether this is too far different from the published motion.
Lord Mayor, if it was amended to say report, would that be sufficient?
I would be prepared to accept Part 6 that request the administration to write a report on the possibility of establishing. That would be a more legitimate motion. Are you happy to accept? Please do.
Request administration prepare a report on the feasibility of establishing Little E, and then the rest works.
Of just a lowercase e?
Yep.
Thank you.
That doesn't represent a significant departure from the
Yeah.
intent of the original.
Do you have a point of order, Councillor Moore?
I think I might regarding Part 5, but I would like to see what we just changed Part 5 to before I make that point. So Councillor Seventreet amended, varied the original 5.
Through the presiding member, the original motion requested administration directly engage with the schools. This variation provides that the administration assesses the feedback, therefore the engagement's implied.
No? I'm sorry, I've become quite confused by this now. Can we just clarify that wording? Can you change the wording so it's not... 4
in the original talks about a direct engagement. 5 in the amendment, scroll down,
Scroll down, please.
talks about an assessment of feedback, which can't happen without engagement.
So might I suggest perhaps that
Councillor Meyer has the floor. He's got the call.
if the Deputy Lord Mayor might move 4 and 6 and not 5, would that make the most sense? And then from a procedural perspective, it achieves everything that the CEO has just advised us without any implications. It just achieves it directly.
My understanding is that the updated implementation plan was not an unreasonable element to the motion. So I'll accept it as it is.
I don't think it's unreasonable, but it seems to stray away from what we just agreed to moments before.
If the mover's happy, we'll take it in parts and you can vote against it.
Can we perhaps see this all in the one sheet, please? Because at the moment we're jumping between 3
I'm sorry,
pages.
I don't know how we can do that. I don't think we can get it all on one
We
screen.
could do it in a, you know, we've got red on the previous page. We do this in blue with the struck out of what's been changed, so we can all see what we're
Do I have any advice?
talking about. That'd be an IT question.
I'm not sure. I think
The request is to
put
see Councillor and Deputy Lord Mayor's amendment in line with the previous live motion. So it would have to be a different colour, just blue instead of red, so we can just see it all in line without getting lost. Because the current motion is 2 pages prior.
I don't think we can debate the details anymore. I'm prepared to take a point of order, so I reject that request and I'll take a point of order from Councillor Freeman. Did you have another point?
Sure.
Actually, it was a question, if I can ask.
Yes. This is the amendment we're dealing with now.
Yes, I wanted to ask through you, Lord Mayor, what is the administration's interpretation of the phrase where clarification or further information is required? Because yes, assessing feedback may imply engagement. My understanding was that was historic engagement, not new engagement. But that is discretionary. That is not all schools, which again departs from the substantive. What is the administration's interpretation of that?
Through the presiding member, if there was a difference of opinion by the school regarding the administration identified priorities, that's what we'd be focusing on.
Thank you.
How would we determine that?
I don't think we can debate that any further. I'm sorry. Councillor Kouros, a question.
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. I just want clarification further on when we're with this amendment here, liaising with individual schools where clarification or further information was required. We're talking about all 11 schools here, not just the ones that in question. We're talking about all of the schools here.
Yeah, I think that's all of the schools.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
because this is the result of the investigation, so they were all of the schools, 12,000
children. So all the schools will
children.
have an opportunity. Can I speak to it, Lord Mayor? I was a little bit concerned. I mean, I understand what Councillor Freeman was trying to achieve here, but I was a little bit concerned about the delays. And we did hear today that there were concerns about delaying some of the...
Point of order, Lord Mayor. Just...
You have a point of order?
Yes. Could I just say again that no delays were stipulated in the substantive motion, if there is any doubt about that?
I think that's a comment. Councillor Kouros, please continue.
Going by the recommendation, Lord Mayor, not
No,
the
please
intent.
carry on.
Sorry, the recommendation state there could we could be delaying. So I am very concerned about that, and I listening to the schools, there are some priorities there that they were really keen to see addressed. However, not taking away their voice, there is some further work that needs to be done, further conversations that need to be had, further liaisons that liaising need to be done with administration in regards to all the schools within the City of Adelaide. I don't I want to move forward. It's been going on from 2024. We've done a huge body of work on it. We do need to think about the future, and that's what point 6 is future-proofing. What more can we do in regards to funding? I think this would be a best way forward in regards to ensuring that we're addressing some of the priorities. We're still having the conversations with all of the 11 schools. We are still considering a report on how we can continue fund them and look at external funding opportunities with the state government, which to me, they need to come to the party here because, you know, a lot of these schools require their attention as well as much as what we need to as a council. I understand Councillor Freeman wanted more of an in-depth discussion and feedback, but I think that still allows that for the schools to be able to deliver their prioritisation in regards to what they feel is important to them. Let's not delay it. Let's move on. Let's get this going, and let's have further conversations in regards to how we can fund this even further.
So, Councillor Moore, do you have a point of order?
No, I was going to speak to the amendment now that we've gotten all those questions out of the way.
Are you speaking to the amendment?
To the amendment, yes.
And you will not speak to the motion?
Just to the amendment.
Okay, all right.
The amended point 5 introduces a delay of 1 quarter to the substantive motion, and I don't support part 5. Part 5 is hinged on the changes made to part 4, so therefore I can't support part 4. I would support the addition of the final portion of the last sentence there, which is without delaying the delivery of priorities 1, 2 and 3 as Brandon School Travel Safety Workshop 21 July 2026. If that was the only change to the original part 4, I would be quite supportive of that. But because of the way that it is presented here, the changes to 4 and 5 on the whole add a delay of 1 quarter, and I can't support that today. That's not what we came here today to do. Part 6.
Councillor, you don't have the floor. Is this a point of order? Well, you can't do it in the middle of him speaking, so you'll just have to wait. Sorry.
I was in the middle of a sentence. I hadn't finished. Perhaps I'll address the clarification. Part 5, which we can see there struck out at the top of the page, at the end of the first preamble before the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, it says by Q2 26-27. And it now says by Q3 without a year. So I would naturally assume that is Q3 of 26-27, but it could be Q3 of anywhere, and Q3 is later than Q2 regardless. So it does introduce a delay, and I can't support that. What the Deputy Lord Mayor is putting forward in part 6 sounds good. If that was also the only change made, I'm sure it would have raucous support from the chamber around the room. Everyone be in favour of that, I think. And I'd like to take it in parts so I can vote in favour of 6 and not in favour of the changes to 4 and 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kabada and then Councillor Martin, but we had one question. Is this a question?
I've got a question to you, Lord Mayor. Councillor Cura's mentioned that with Councillor Freeman's motion before us, there would be a delay. Can I just seek clarification from administration if that is the case or not?
I'm not sure there's going to be a delay except in the report coming back.
Through the presiding member, the amendment as presented to the chamber gives the administration the imprimatur to proceed with the implementation of priorities 1, 2 and 3 as identified as part of the workshop. The rest of the motion basically asks us to engage with the schools to seek feedback around the priority 4 projects, which will require additional funding. So that's the administration's interpretation of this motion. So we move on priorities 1, 2, 3, which is reduce the speed, PACs and signage. There's still a whisper.
And speed. And speed.
Speed's number one, Lord Mayor.
Speed was first off the cab off the rank.
Thank you, CEO. My question was in regards to Councillor Freeman's motion. Would there be a delay based on the motion that she has put forward that we wouldn't be able to get on with priorities 1, 2 and 3 as presented?
Not as I understand it. And we've budgeted for the work in this financial year.
So that would still go ahead regardless of if there's...
My understanding is yes.
Is that the administration's understanding?
That the 1, 2 and 3 will go ahead.
Based on this amendment. Based on this amendment. What is your question?
So I think the answer's yes.
Okay, so Councillor Freeman's motion, everything she said in there would still happen regardless anyway. There wouldn't be any delays.
Sorry, can you just sit down? We'll ask Mr McCready.
Through Lord Mayor, just to respond in the councillor's original motion, it says reprioritise. So effectively what would happen is that has the opportunity to look at priorities 1, 2 and 3, whereas the motion before you...
No, one person at a time, Mr McCready.
The motion before you clearly states that 1, 2 and 3 as proposed is progressed, and then the remainders, which was 4 in the presentation, other items, comes back for council's consideration based on engagement with all the schools.
Councillor, you have already spoken. Is this a point of order?
A question, Lord Mayor. The substantive says reprioritise capital works, does not say reprioritise speed limits. Is the administration's interpretation that the speed limits are capital works?
Yes, funded through the capital program.
So therein lies the confusion. Okay.
Thank you. So Councillor Cabard has spoken. Councillor Martin. Oh, you haven't spoken. Sorry. Can I just say, Councillor Martin started this project by seeking a review of school safety of all 12 schools. So congratulations.
Well,
I think the answer is $36 million.
Thank you. Thank you, Lord Mayor. Thank you. I certainly can't claim credit for the confusion that seems to be abroad in the chamber tonight. Now, any reading of the papers that were presented to us tonight from the administration make clear that they believe, and it's abundantly clear from paragraph 10, that the consultation has occurred. The Deputy Lord Mayor's motion talks very clearly about the school feedback against the existing objective evidence-based system. That is to say, revisiting it. And I hear the CEO say, oh, no, we're going to speak to the schools. And then there's this added layer of confusion around 1, 2 and 3, what is and what isn't capital works. Now, I think this motion is confusing, absolutely confusing. And I think were the substantive motion to be carried, and I'm not speaking to that, then there'd be a great deal more clarity. What this does not do is what I think is required. It certainly reaffirms priorities 1, 2 and 3, which are related to school speeds and to pedestrian activated crossings. Discussed at committee, endorsed, agreed, not a point of difference in this room. The motion, however, that you're being asked to consider here relates to capital requests outside of those 3 priorities about which there is a hot contest. A contest among all schools, 4 of which have not even been considered in the Capital Works program that has been put forward as the capital priority list, which is referenced in this motion. Now, this is deficient. The intention of the chamber, I would have thought, rather than kicking it down the road is what's being proposed, the intention of the chamber should be to involve all of those schools in discussions reasonably about what the council's proposing. The consultation that's occurred with them has been primarily through the Tonkin report, which was a consultancy report which sought their feedback on the recommendations. 2 years, almost 3 years down the track, the council's made a set of decisions about what is and what is not a priority. And frankly, nobody agrees with us. Nobody agrees with us. And so the intention is to go back to the schools and say, we're doing priorities 1, 2 and 3, we're rolling them out. We've got some capital funds left. Moreover, we are pursuing the state government for $1.6 million to match those funds. We want to know how to spend it. So where is the harm? What is the problem in consulting schools?
Leave is being sought. All those in favour, that's carried. Thank you.
What is the problem in consulting schools? Now, the administration says, well, it might compromise our objective, is it fact-based, objective information-based recommendations? Well, that's exactly what the schools want. They want a compromise on what has been proposed. Lord Mayor, ditch this, just get rid of it, go back to the substantive motion. Let's have that conversation. Let's preserve priorities 1, 2 and 3. Let's not get confused.
Thank you. Councillor Kouros, is this a question or are you speaking?
Lord Mayor, because I think everyone's confused because I want to be clear with administration. Does this amendment before us mean that you do not liaise with the schools on their priorities?
No.
No. Does this amendment, does the previous motion mean that it will be delayed and we will not be going ahead with 1, 2 and 3? As far as I've read the recommendation, that's what I understand. Now, I read my papers and the recommendation says that priorities 1, 2 and 3 will be delayed. Is that correct?
Through the presiding member, the published motion in the agenda papers notes an agreed position on speed safety reviews, but nothing else.
So the original motion still means that priorities 1, 2 and 3 will still go ahead?
The original motion contemplates priority 1, which is speed safety.
So not 2 and 3?
No.
Right. So I think we need to be very clear with the gallery because I don't want any confusion. So, and I would like clarification on what Councillor Ma was saying about quarter 3 because I did not understand. Can administration please explain to me what the rationale in his thinking was?
Through the presiding member, if the appetite of the council is to give the administration the imprimatur to move forward on priority 1, speed reduction, priority 2, PACs, and priority 3, school zone signage, a minor amendment to clause 3 of the original motion might do that.
So I think that this is a camel and you either have to vote for it en bloc or vote for it.
Because everyone's trying to do the right thing, but we don't want it to inhibit anything. So what minor amendment is required in order for point 5?
So I think that nothing adverse will happen if you vote for this motion. And the one original part of it is part 6, which I think is actually quite useful because if you've got $36 million of potential expenditure, we're not going to spend that amount of money.
I agree with you, Lord Mayor, but I'm going back to what the CEO said. There's a minor amendment required for part 5.
Through the presiding member, I'm dancing around an originally published motion, an alternate motion, an amendment. My response to Councillor Martin was about a quick fix to the original published motion. I don't disagree with the Lord Mayor's view that the administration's imprimatur for priorities 1, 2 and 3 are provided for in this amendment. But what is up for grabs and requires further engagement is in relation to the priority 4, which is the capital works, which is contestable or needs to be contestable.
So can I suggest that rather than being bogged down any further and being in more pain than we already are, can we vote on this amendment and then move forward? If you don't like it, vote against it and we'll go back to the original.
See, Lord Mayor, this is what happens when we have amendments on the fly. You're trying to understand.
I know, I exactly agree.
And we don't have administration's comments on each amendment.
Yes, thank you.
So you're trying to do the right thing.
I know you're trying to do the right thing. Can I suggest we put this amendment to the vote?
May I ask you a question?
Please do.
I understand from the CEO that if there's a minor tweak to the original that was proposed by Councillor Freeman, then the first, second and third priorities will proceed. The amended motion includes unchanged number 3. Is he suggesting that this motion also, if it includes 3, must be altered, or does it not need to be altered?
I'm afraid this is beyond my comprehension.
Well, Lord Mayor, look, I'll be specific then. 3 says, notes that the administration have prioritised equitable implementation of a reduced speed school zones access across all schools in 26-27, which was identified as a shared priority within the 2024 School Transport Safety Review.
That's priority 1, Councillor. Yeah. That's priority 1.
I understand that. In the conversation that has unfolded in this room, and in response to a question about whether or not this would fly, you volunteered the view that point 3, with a minor tweak, would ensure that the first option that was proposed by, the first motion proposed by Councillor Freeman would fly. The point 3 of this amended motion that the Deputy Lord Mayor has put through, or put up, includes the original point 3. The question then is, does that then need to be amended?
No.
So why is that? I'm lost.
I don't think the CEO wants to debate it. I think he's just given his opinion.
Through the presiding member, I'm doing my level best to assist this chamber to get where they need to get to. 3 is in both. 4 reinforces what's committed to in 3. Yeah, yes, and includes the imprimatur for council to proceed beyond speed zones into PACs and into school signage.
So I think that we have to move this forward, otherwise we will be bogged down all year.
Lord Mayor, a question, I think it'll simplify everything for me. So then hypothetically, with the slight tweak to part 3 in the original motion, the only difference between the two motions is dealing, apart from 6, is the level of engagement with the schools. That's the substantive difference between the two motions.
No, I don't think,
not including part 6.
I don't think that's true. I think that we've moved beyond that. I think I'll move to ask the Deputy Lord Mayor, are you happy if we close this debate?
Sum up. I just want to say that my amendment is very much focused on ensuring that 1, 2 and 3 occurs ASAP. It actually ensures feedback happens from the schools and that we listen to that feedback, and it's contestable funding, and there's processes around all of that to ensure that we look at those gaps between the Tonkin report and what the schools are asking for, or what they deem is their risk issues, etc. It also adds another important point, which is about the ongoing funding for this. And I think it would be a pity that this amendment does not get up, because I think it ticks all the boxes and it allows administration to get on with what we've agreed to. It is ensuring that we get the feedback, and we've got that process coming from the schools, and that we look at the future of this as well. So it would be a pity if it did not get up.
All those in
Lord
favour?
Mayor, procedural in parts as requested.
Are you happy in parts? For your 3 parts? No. She doesn't want it in parts. All those in favour? 1, 2, 3. All those against? That's lost. Thank you. We'll go back to the unamended motion.
Lord Mayor, may I, because I've not spoken, I've only asked a question, can I make an amendment which is to include part 6 from a previous motion and the CEO's recommended tweak to part 3?
Can we take part 6 if it's been lost?
It's been lost.
I don't think we can because it's just been lost. You'll have to have
So I'll start off then with the CEO's recommended tweak to part 3 of this motion, if that can be included first.
I'm not sure where the CEO's tweak is. You've lost me. I need help to know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. No, I'm just get the tweak from the CEO who might know what we're talking about. I think the CEO's lost the will to live and left the dice.
Please.
Apparently there was something in part 3 that was changed. I don't know quite.
CEO, you proposed in the previous... Apology.
What were you proposing? I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get to it, Lord Mayor. I've got too many helpers.
I think we're all losing the will to live here. I think we can be sure that we all want to sort this out, but we're struggling with the scope of the changes required.
Lord Mayor, can we perhaps take a few minutes to resolve this and the suggested tweaks?
The answer's ready.
Okay.
With the support of the Secretariat, 3 would be varied to note that the administration have prioritised equal implementation of reduced speed school zones, comma, pedestrian crossing upgrades, and school street signs. That's priority 1, 2, 3.
We'll have them in
Thank you, CEO. And then a part 6, which would incorporate...
I'm afraid we can't do it because it's been lost, because it wasn't taken in parts.
Well, you should have taken it in parts and Deputy Lord Mayor.
So you have amended, this is your amendment. Did you have a seconder for that? Councillor Couros can't, she's already done it.
Councillor Abrahimzadeh, would you...
Is there anybody who has, Councillor Abrahimzadeh has seconded it, well done. So, do you need to speak to this?
Right reserved, Lord Mayor.
No, you don't need to speak to it. Councillor Abrahimzadeh.
Lord Mayor, just to briefly thank the staff. Obviously, they are committed to this as the elected body is, and as the CEO referred to earlier, the words that you used were dancing around. So I do appreciate the manoeuvres that the staff have made to make this happen. So I do want to acknowledge and thank them for their work.
Thank you. So we'll move that amendment as. So this is only the amendment on 3. I'm not sure why there's a red part at the bottom. That was the original variation. Okay, sorry. So, Councillor, you've spoken.
Yeah, I spoke to the
other amendment.
Other amendment, yes.
So let's put this amendment quickly.
I'll just sum up then. Just to say, thank the staff, thank everyone for working together on this, trying to put a way forward. I would have supported part 6 of the earlier amendment, but it is what it is.
I think we're almost getting there. All those in favour of part 3 amended? All those against? That's carried. Fabulous. That now becomes the motion, so all those red bits are now incorporated. Councillor Freeman.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Look, I want to apologise for the mess around this, not just only to the staff and the elected body, but also the people in the gallery. It's strange that we have been debating something that we all furiously agree to over the last half an hour, but I guess the selection of wording is important. The why I encourage the elected body to support this particular motion is because it is about closing the loop. It has been 2 years since the school travel safety implementation review, whatever it was called, happened. Things have changed since then. I don't doubt that we had expert consultants undertake this assessment. The prioritisation that they've recommended is valid, but the schools need to be on board with that, and we need to support them in getting on board with that. This simply asks that engagement to happen so that we can walk through the priorities with each of the schools, maybe work out what that future program looks like, which we don't have at the moment. We don't have anything beyond the next few years. And yet we have a very long and expensive program of improvements that everyone is really excited about us delivering, but we can't say when. A deputation earlier said, well, we'd hate for something terrible to happen for us to realise, well, we should have done something about it then. So this is just getting everyone together, ideally collectively, because this does not stipulate we're individually engaging. It just says we will engage each school, maybe all together, maybe by ward, maybe on their own. That is at the discretion of the administration. But the point is that we bring them along the journey. We don't just tell them what we're doing without that endorsement. We need to be aligned on what the priorities are. We all agree it's a priority. We just need to bring in the schools for what we've actually selected to deliver on what that priority is. So again, I apologise for the lengthy debate, but hopefully we have reached a position that we all now agree with, and we can move forward without delay and prioritising the speed limit changes, which I know are imminent, ready to go, and we all agree should happen yesterday.
All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. So we'll now move on to 15.3. Councillor Kabada.
Oh, thank you, Lord Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Kouros.
Lord Mayor, I want to thank the administration because the comments before us are thorough and candid, and it's made it easier to support the motion rather than harder. I want to deal or start off with the $6 million at the outset. That figure relates to a full streetscape upgrade, and my motion does not ask for one. It asks for no capital funding at all. It asks that we go and look at what we can do with the existing budget, and a report come back to Council in October with options and cost. That is a request for a report, not for any money to be spent. Austin Street sits metres from Rundle Mall and is home to a substantial residential community. 78 residents ran their own survey over 6 weeks. Almost 9 in 10 rated the precinct poor or very poor. 7 in 10 feel unsafe walking there at night. 3/4 want better lining, and 8 in 10 praise rubbish and cleanliness. Sorry, Lord Mayor?
Sorry, I was just checking who seconded it.
Of course, Lord Mayor. I acknowledge what administration has already done. The LED lining renewal is in detail designed for delivery this year, which speaks directly to one of the top concerns. A site inspection was carried out in May, and the asset management plans were validated and isolated defects identified for correction. Some members may say an inspection has already happened. I would ask them to read paragraph 5 alongside paragraph 6. Paragraph 5 tells us that in May an inspection examined asset condition, maintenance and renewal, and it did that properly. Paragraph 6 tells us the matter residence rates sit in a different category, being functionality, amenity and levels of service. So the inspection answered one question well, and residents are asking for another. Cleaning, bin management, how well and lit that street is at 11 o'clock at night. None of those asset renewal questions. The most important line in the comment is paragraph 7, and I suspect it has been overlooked. It says enhancements for streets such as Austin Street are considered alongside planned renewal projects to minimise disruption and maximise value for money. There is a planned project on that street right now. There is an economic dimension too. 2/3 of residents want new businesses, cafes and hospitality in that street. And more than 6 in 10 want the arcade activated. They are asking for more life, not less. And they are right that this is part of the safety answer. More venues open in the evening means more people and more eyes on the street. Colleagues, if 78 residents in any of your wards did this, I think every one of us would want Council to look and come back with options. That is all I'm asking. No money moves tonight. Nothing is taken from main streets, greening or parklands. It is an inspection, the thing we can already do, and a report in October. I commend this motion to Council.
Councillor Kouros? Anybody want to speak against this? Councillor Marr?
Why Austin Street?
Are you asking me?
Yes. Why the priority for Austin Street?
I think that the residents and property owners have made submissions and they made a request about the street, so that probably provoked it.
I can think of dozens of other streets with similar requests.
Thank you. This isn't relevant. I'm sorry.
Well, I might speak to it now. So it talks about the lighting on Austin Street. Austin Street's got about a dozen street lights. Surfland Street, similar length of street, similar one-way arrangement. It's in South Ward. Similar high density living, apartment living, and cornered by quite a high profile retail off of Carrington, a doctor's office, and there's also a church there as well. Significantly higher traffic. It's got 3 street lights. So again, I guess the ethereal question is why Austin Street, particularly when it was just redone 4 years ago. The administration comment acknowledges that there's already a lighting upgrade that's going ahead. And I noted in one of the communications that we received from the residents that there was potentially a $6 million plan previously that was going to be part funded by the developer. That, for some reason, appears to have fallen over. I don't understand what happened with that. But I struggle to see the reason that we would prioritise Austin Street when there are objectively far less serviced streets in the City of Adelaide with similar needs and similar use cases and similar responses from the community about what they want done about their street. I can't support this as is. I'd support noting number 1 and the request in 2 and in 3. I think that actually has been answered by the administration's comment already. I don't know that we need to proceed to that.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Lord Mayor?
Look, I was given the Cook's tour of Austin Street by residents in the realm. And to answer maybe Councillor Marr's question is, when you actually look at Austin Street, it's one street back from North Terrace, one of our main streets, and one street back from Rundle Mall. I mean, it has, I think it's the largest apartment building in the City of Adelaide. So I think, and people are quite passionate about this. There's a lot of people that live in there that also own other property in the city. I think that there is a good argument to actually look at the street in a new lens. I actually believe that the council and I have had many discussions with the administration over this street. And I know that they've actually gone out, they've looked at this street, they've actually analysed it, there's lighting that's happening. There is an argument that if you actually do more into this, into this area, that you will attract maybe more businesses in the Renaissance Arcade. The Renaissance Arcade is not our issue, yet it is. Because if you walk into the Renaissance Arcade, it's pretty sad, actually. And I remember the days when it was hopping and it was amazing, and I would love to see that back. And maybe if we do stuff around the area that could actually get people to actually be more enticed to actually set up business in that area. So look, although I actually think that there's been a bit of work, quite a bit of work done from administration, I don't not support this. I actually think there's some things that are happening in this area that's planned for this street with lighting and just bringing it more to life. I think there's a bit more to look at with car parking around there. it's not just lighting and what's been sort of addressed here. There is some other issues as well, I think. So look, I'm going to support this, recognising what the administration's already done, but recognising that I do think that this area is a little bit different to other streets. I do think that it is in between such two main areas of our city, and it does look a little bit down in the dumps. And so I actually will support this based on that. Thank you.
Councillor Martin.
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. Look,
Councillor Kouros then.
I am confused. I've heard Councillor Kabata say this is a motion about finding out what can be done within the confines of our current budget, and it's not about $6 million. The administration is saying it's $6 million. The deputy said this is about an upgrade. What does the administration believe it's being asked to do? Prepare, and I hesitate to ask the CEO on this of all evenings after being tested so sorely earlier, what does the administration understand it's being asked to do? To provide a report on what can be done within budget, or to come back with a super-duper multi-million-dollar upgrade plan?
Through the presiding member, our interpretation of the motion, should it be supported by council, is that we'll do some further investigations over and above what we've already done, noting that I think the administration comments reflect a pretty sound assessment of the key infrastructure elements. What I would be focused on in a further report would be how we might address some of the matters raised by the resident survey in relation to non-infrastructure activities.
Thank you very much to the CEO. I appreciate the words and the patience. And on the basis of that explanation, I'll support this motion.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I think in response to the why, and the why is because we're elected members, and when our community comes to us and asks them of a request to look into
point of order.
Concerns.
You have a point of order, Councillor Kouros, would you sit down?
Our community comes to us on all sorts of issues, and not all of them end up with a motion. Most of them can be dealt with without a motion through the existing pathways.
A valid explanation. Please, I reject your point of order. Councillor Kouros, keep going.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. We've had a community come to us, fill out, given us their reasons to why we should look at the street. They've come to us and they've asked for our assistance. They've come to us to redirect our attention back to Austin Street, and that's what us as elected members are here to do. And we are here to listen to the concerns of the public, and we are here to address them. And on all this motion is providing is a report. It's just a report. And a report for us to make a decision on what are the quick wins, what things that we can sustain with our budgets, and maybe look at the cleansing ratio happening in that street. And if there is any other streets that need attention, surely the public can come along and do their own response in regards to what their street may need. And I'm always willing to listen to anyone out there who feels that this needs to be a report and then attention to be looked at. So I think we need to give that respect back to the community for what they have done. They've brought this forward to our attention. And thank you to Councillor Kabata, who's brought this motion through to put this back onto the administration's radar and to give it the attention that it deserves for us to make a decision based on the report that will be.
So we'll have Councillor Snape, then we'll sum up. And Councillor Freeman, do you wish to speak against this, Councillor Freeman? Councillor Snape?
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Look, I'm happy to support the residents in this endeavour. It is a report. I do note the administration comment around resurfacing happening 5 years ago, but there's clearly issues around lighting and other fixes, some low-hanging fruit potentially. So I don't think it hurts to have a report into this and assist the residents where we can. I think it's quite a sensible thing, and I commend the councillor and other councillors who are supporting this as well. Yeah, let's support our residents.
Councillor Freeman.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Just a quick question. So in part 2, undertaking immediate improvements available within existing budgets and delegations, given this refers to the Renaissance Arcade Precinct, which I assume is part of Rundle Mall, would that existing budget and delegation include Rundle Mall as part of AIDA and that budget collected by a special levy? No?
I think the answer was no.
All righty then. Thank you. Good to know. Just a quick comment. I'm happy to support this. It is a worthwhile investigation, and I think the residents actually have probably pointed out that maybe we are not being transparent enough about when assets are due for renewal. Maybe we are not asking enough questions about what people want on their street. Perhaps this can be a bit of a pilot for how we can do things better. I'm happy to support it.
So Councillor Kabada is going to sum up. You've spoken.
I have a quick question before you do, Councillor.
I think you've had enough.
It's a question. There was talk earlier about $6 million. Oh, no, not $6 million.
It's in the report, Councillor.
Sorry, no, not that. I apologise, Lord Mayor. There was a talk earlier about a developer contribution a while back. What happened with that? Is the administration able to share any light on?
I don't think that's the basis of this report, so we'll have a question at another point. Councillor Kabada, would you like to sum up?
Yes, Lord Mayor. I would just like to thank all the residents, but in particular, Gabrielle took the time to come out to council when we're going through budget and stood before us, did a deputation, and said to us what she and the residents wanted. Then after that, she's gone through and asked people, done a report, got a survey together, and brought people again back together because she believes that this is an issue. I respect Councillor Smarr's position, but for me as an elected member, I think it's important to listen to what the people who elected me are saying and the things that they are wanting done in the community. And if they think it's a priority, then I think it's a priority to go after them and do what the community wants and needs. So thank you to everyone who's made the time to come out tonight, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Just before I put it to the vote, one of the things that I think that we need to do in this report is to have the temperature maps. We have Beniona temperature maps, and one of the things that I'm not entirely confident about is the notion that if a street is heavily shaded because of tall buildings, it doesn't require trees. I would have thought the heat island effect would still make that street hot. And if you look at a street like Low Street, which has tall sides, it has a vine across the street, and the street is gloriously cool. So I actually think that we should be analysing the bleak, untreed streets based on temperature. And this street would be one of probably 20 in the city that were bleak because there are no trees. And we shouldn't give up on them because they have high buildings. We should use all our data. I'm sorry, so all those in favour? All those against? I didn't get to vote. I'm sorry I bored you with my diatribe. Passed. It was passed. I didn't get a vote.
Mary's calling it division.
Oh, division, sorry. I was just disappointed. I thought I might get a vote.
Members, a division has been called in relation to item 15.3. Please stand in favour of the motion until your name has been called. Councillor Martin, Councillor Kabada, Councillor Snape, Councillor Kouros, Councillor Freeman, Councillor Siebentrit, Councillor Noon, Councillor Abrahimzadeh. Thank you.
So now we're going to go back to the agenda, item 11, and I'm going to ask Councillor Siebentrit if he'd like to move the recommendations.
Happy to move, Lord Mayor.
Perhaps. Moved by Councillor Siebentrit, seconded by Councillor Marr. Councillor Martin, did you want to speak to it?
Yes, Lord Mayor. Look, I have a question which I know will go to the CEO, and I do apologise.
Can I just say you're very welcome to stay all evening. Thank you. Councillor Martin.
Look, at committee, we were advised that explanation for the changes which are proposed to delegations, which was the main part of CFG, well, certainly the longest part, we were advised that there's an explanation to be found at link 1, except there is none for the delegations noted for AIDA and described as provisions for corporate services Adelaide Economic Development Agency, and then there are 13 pages of delegations. Could the administration provide advice on what they are?
Could I have some advice on that? I think they have financial delegations.
Through the presiding member, all the AIDA delegations are new delegations.
So AIDA is assuming, as the delegations show, powers to close roads, powers to enter into agreements with other local government areas. All of those things are being conferred on AIDA?
What page of link 1 are you referring to, Councillor?
I'm referring to the whole document. There's no reference to AIDA in the whole document at link 3.
We might need to take that on notice if we can't identify it. Mr. Spatalis, can you help us?
They're very extensive powers, and I just...
Shall I ask if we need to defer that, defer 7.2 and take it on notice because it's not urgent?
Lord Mayor, if I might just butt in there, this was a question that I asked at the committee, and I was assured that we would get that information by the council.
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear.
I asked a similar question at the committee regarding the change log and where that's gone.
We don't vote on this if there's a question and people don't understand the answer? No, I understand it was asked in the committee.
Lord Mayor, sorry, I have a question too. I think it was also asked for the track changes. Was there? There was no track changes.
So, in order to move forward, can I suggest we move 7.1 and defer 7.2 till the next meeting? No, says. I've been told no. It's good to have someone in control here. I don't think we can resolve this. So can I ask Councillor Siebentrit to move item 7.1, seconded by Councillor Marr, and we will defer this matter to later on in the agenda or maybe to another meeting. So, and if there's any debate on 7.1, all those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. We'll move on to item 12. 12.1. Could I ask if someone would receive the report about a resignation? Moved by Councillor Siebentrit, seconded by Councillor Abrahimzadeh. All those in favour? All those against? That's Councillor Kouros. Did you vote? Can we take it again? All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, Councillor.
Lord Mayor, could I just ask a brief question around agenda item 15.1, which is in relation to St Mary's? Can I just clarify that you mentioned earlier on that that has been withdrawn?
I understand it was withdrawn by the council.
Just want to clarify in case there are any members of the gallery who are here who perhaps are waiting for 15.1.
12.2, the Eastern Parklands Community Reference Group. Moved by Councillor Snape, seconded by Councillor Marr. Councillor Martin.
Lord Mayor, I wonder whether, look, I endorse the idea, but it doesn't have a time limit on it. It simply says there'll be a report presented to council after a year about the operation. I wonder whether the administration might contemplate a amendment that allowed for the committee to operate for a year or a year and a half.
Can the gallery be quiet, please? Sorry.
A year or a year and a half, at which time a report is presented. Otherwise, the council then has to make a decision to disband the committee if it hasn't worked, whereas if its conclusion is anticipated...
So the terms of reference don't have a final point? So it will be reasonable to say that this will be a time-limited committee, is that fair?
Through the presiding member, Ms Kalionis, do the terms of reference address a term of the committee?
I don't think it does.
Through the presiding member, no, they don't. The next steps in the report indicate that we'll come back with a report after a 12-month period, but there's no reason we can't adjust the terms of reference.
And what I'm suggesting, Lord Mayor, is that if that report came back and said this is a waste of time, the council then has to separately, actively pursue a motion to disband it. Whereas if the committee is given a time span of 12 months, 18 months, whatever it is, after which it requires a report to determine its continued operation, then there are no false expectations.
Can I ask if we can have an amendment to that?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Seconded by Deputy. Okay. CEO, can you help us, please? Can we find some words?
I'll do my level best, Lord Mayor.
I don't have any model phrases for this. It's not something I've done before.
Just an addendum to point 1 would do, wouldn't it? Including where it refers to terms of reference?
The reason I'm hesitating, Councillor, is I'm trying to establish the life of the reference group in accordance with the resolution of the 9th of June.
I thought the resolution was simply that we would establish one, but I could be wrong.
Facilitate and support a group. So if I might assist, a new one, please.
Number 3?
New one.
New one, sorry.
Yeah. Approves the establishment of a Eastern Parklands Community Reference Group for a trial period of 12 months. If that's the intent. If that's the intent.
Yes.
And we'll remove part 1, is that correct?
No, part 1, even though it's only established for 12 months, it still needs terms of reference. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3. No, sorry.
No, it's the order has to change. The 2 moves up to 1.
The establishment becomes the 1.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Councillor Snape, let's not...
Oh, no, I moved first, the initial,
sorry?
I moved the initial, I can't do it.
So you moved it, so we'll have an amendment. Thank you for picking that. Seconded by Councillor Stephen-Tritt. All those in favour of a question?
I'm a bit confused because it actually
Join
said,
me.
Sorry?
Join me, I am as well.
Membership states adjacent local government, but omits in the terms of reference local and government representatives to be around the table. That sort of. So if you actually look at page 220, it's got adjacent local government, and then it actually says in the terms of reference that it omits local and state representatives. So to me, there's a, an issue there.
Can I have some help, please?
Ms Kalionis, are you clear about the question? Could you assist through the presiding
Actually,
member?
it's on 220, page 220. So local and state government representatives, including self-elected members and peak bodies, will not be members of the CRG, but then in the membership, it's got adjacent local government. So I'm just wondering.
Ms Kalionis?
Quite clearly, it'll be members of the administration of the surrounding councils.
Through the presiding
Well,
member.
then we need to actually stipulate that quite clearly.
Have we got clarification? Is it apparent? Is it obvious?
We can vary the terms of reference to ensure that it is clear.
So that will be amended with an undertaking?
Yes.
So we've got an undertaking to clarify
And
that?
I have another question. I mean, this is actually a big job because they're going to meet every 4 weeks. What is the estimated annual costs, including facilitation, administration, venues and staff time? Because City of Adelaide responsibilities are substantial. They're going to be doing the minutes. I mean, I run a lot of committees myself. I know how timely they are. And I'm just wondering, and then it says in the terms of reference that members have a almost hotline to the council staff, and we're talking about 12 to 15 members during the 4 weeks. I mean, this is a substantial undertaking. Also, how are we going to communicate the outcomes of this particular committee?
Apparently it was approved in a council.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember when, but at the end of the day, I'm keen to know how we're going to communicate this to the Motorsports Board, because they're not asked to be on the committee.
It is a surprising move, I must say. But
well, there's no
decision by
communication in this. I'm not a fan of this TIR, to tell you the truth. I've done a few in my life, and I must admit I'm not a fan of how this has been. There's some gaps, to tell you the truth.
I think that we can only vote against it at that stage, can't we?
Sorry?
I think we can only vote against it then.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. Councillor Abrahimzadeh, did you wish to speak?
Just a couple of questions, if I may, Lord Mayor. In terms of the agendas and the minutes of this reference group, will that be something that will be circulated to the elected body? That wasn't clear in the report.
I don't recall this.
Through the presiding member, Ms Callionis.
Through the presiding member, yes.
Okay. And if I may just ask, look, I believe the member for Adelaide has also either talked about establishing a reference group, a similar reference group, or whether if it's already been established. Do we know whether if... Okay, it has? Okay.
They met last week.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, probably should have asked you. But will there be any crossover or any collaboration with that reference group? That wasn't obviously part of this report, but just thought I'll seek clarification, Lord Mayor.
I can't answer that, Ms Calliotis.
Through the presiding member, we'd have to take that on notice and reach out to the member.
So, do you wish to speak against it?
Yes, please, Lord Mayor. Look, Lord Mayor, the original council resolution, I believe the wording is something along the lines of going above and beyond what is stated in legislation in order to get feedback. I think if we want to be productive in this cause, and I understand and appreciate the council's position, I believe this has been established to bolster that position, but I don't think it will do the council I don't think it will bring any benefit to the council, because if we are really serious about having an influence and trying to get that feedback through to the people that actually are making the decisions, that is the state government and its agencies, I think it's probably worthwhile for us to be more collaborative and actually reach out to this other reference group that's been established and work with with those bodies that are likely to be more influential. In saying that, I don't want to take away from the good work that the staff have done. So they've obviously followed the council resolution, and they've done that work brilliantly. So not criticising them or their work, but I do think that if we do want to be productive and be influential, we ought to think about this differently.
Thank you, Councillor Stephen-Tritt.
Lord Mayor, I agree there's significant work that's gone into this, but listening to the questions that are coming forward, I propose that we defer this motion. I think I had a number of questions myself around specifics of the terms of reference. For example, it refers to engaging businesses, but it's not specific about, for example, Hutt Street Traders or Eastern Coordination Group. So for a number of reasons, in addition to what we've heard, I propose that we defer it.
Thank you. So, who moved? Sorry? Councillor Martin's amendment. All those in favour? All those against? Can you take that again? Councillor Martin's amendment. All those...
So I was proposing to defer it, Lord Mayor.
I'm sorry?
It's a deferral motion, Lord Mayor.
Sorry? We have to deal with the amendment first, and that was moved by Councillor Martin, and it was seconded. Sorry.
Well, look, Lord Mayor, if we're going to vote on the amendment, I'll sum up. Look, this was referred to committee, and Lord Mayor, I was surprised at the time no one talked about it. I have had the benefit of a conversation with you, Lord Mayor, in relation to this. And one of the reasons why it was elucidated to me that we needed this was because one of the criticisms of the City of Adelaide, and particularly in relation to the management of the parklands, is that we are very insular. We are just a small group of people making decisions. This represents an attempt to reach out beyond the state government-appointed Parklands Authority, beyond the council-appointed Parklands Authority, people who are experts according to the criteria required for membership of those boards. You have to bring a skill there, more likely related to parklands management. This is actually about getting down to the grassroots, talking to residents, businesses, talking also to local councils, neighbouring councils, not about MotoGP. Yeah, the reference papers make it very clear, the terms of reference, it's actually all about seeking information in respect of Rundle Park, Rymel Park, King Rodney Park, Victoria Park certainly is in there. It is a genuine attempt to reach out and to have opinions from other people. Now, the council in that way stays in touch not only with our own community, but with communities who are outside of the City of Adelaide and who are using the parklands. Now, it'll come as no surprise to all of you that most of the users of the parklands in Adelaide are not residents of the City of Adelaide. They come from other places. And in the eastern parklands, it is particularly pronounced. Suburbs like Unley, for example, are big users of that part of the parklands. People from Rose Park are big users. And part of the reason is in those areas, and I know this from previous work that this council has done, part of the reason is that those areas are under catered for in terms of parklands and recreation spaces because their councils argue, oh, we're right next door to the parklands. So there are people, large numbers of people, using the parklands who want to have a say in what's going on, but who frankly have no avenue with the City of Adelaide. So this actually provides the opportunity to test how it might work. Now, I'd argue that there's a case for extending this beyond the eastern parklands and probably around the whole of the parklands. But as a trial, as an exploration of how this might work and how we might also deflect, if I may, Lord Mayor.
Leave sought. All those in favour?
Of how we might deflect the criticism that we are just a small group of people sitting around a table. I think this is an excellent trial. It is, according to the amendment, and hopefully you'll approve that, a one-year trial. If it turns out to be a dud, it's a dud, and I'll be the first to admit it. But if it turns out that it's successful, talking not about MotoGP, but about all of the parklands set out in the terms of reference and provides reasonable feedback, that seems to me to be a pretty prudent thing on our part to do.
Thank you. I'll put the amendment. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. That now becomes part of the motion. And Councillor Snape, do you need to sum them up? All those in favour? I'm sorry?
Apologies, Lord Mayor. I thought we were deferring upon the recommendation of
the motion as amended.
Sorry, can I speak to it?
If you want to, I was just hoping we might move on.
I thought, but Councillor Seamantrip has got a deferral.
Sorry, Lord Mayor, I think there's a bit of confusion because I suggested a deferral not because because people are disagreeing with Councillor Martin, just to provide a bit more time to refine some elements.
I think you seconded Councillor Martin's, didn't you?
I did yes, I did second Councillor Munn. Yes.
And if you seconded it, I'm not sure that you can actually defer
I'm happy
it
for
now.
someone else to put that.
Councillor Kouros has come to the rescue, seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. Let's just move, so you want to move a deferral? And sorry, Councillor Noon has spoken as well, so we have to have someone else. And you've spoken. I don't know, we haven't got that far. We're just seeing if anybody... So Councillor Kabada to the rescue again. So when are we going to defer it to?
When
would committee?
Next committee? Don't we need to discuss it further? No? Okay, next council meeting? Right.
Next committee?
Well, there's a lot of questions everyone has, but okay. Next council meeting?
No. And we'll defer it to a convenient meeting.
Yes, thank you.
Do we need to debate this, Councillor Freeman?
Yes, Lord Mayor, I don't support deferring this to a date that's not defined because, just as a reminder, when we met with the board, there was a promise to undertake consultation in July about what's happening in the Eastern Parklands, which is not eventuated. And the terms of reference and the report talks about the first meeting being in August. So I would be happy to support a deferral to the next council meeting in 2 weeks to allow some of the nuts and bolts to be worked out, but I don't support
I'm
deferring
advised
to
that
a date that
Councillor
doesn't
Kouros
exist.
is deferring to the 11th of August.
Next council meeting?
Yes? Yep.
Can I speak to it?
You can speak to it.
Okay.
You have to. Why don't we just put it to the vote and defer?
Sure.
All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you. We'll move on. 12.3. So this is the Behavioural Standards Panel. We're going to note a series of notings. Can I get
Lord
someone?
Mayor, I'm happy to move. I think I might be the only one who doesn't
moved.
have a conflict with this.
Can I get a seconder before we take any? Councillor Siebentrit has seconded. Councillor Marr, did you want to speak to this?
I have nothing I wish to say about this.
Councillor, Deputy Lord Mayor.
I have a personal explanation that I would like to read out.
Yes, we'll accept that.
Lord Mayor, fellow councillors and the community of the City of Adelaide, and Mr Davis that I noticed is in the gallery tonight. I'm one of the councillors who submitted this complaint approximately 15 months ago. Since then, it has been examined, tested and investigated as per the report.
Point of order, Lord Mayor.
Just a moment, Deputy Lord Mayor. Councillor.
I'm interested to know, isn't there a conflict if she put in the complaint?
No, she's declared the conflict that she has.
And she's choosing to speak to it.
And she's remaining in the room.
And speaking to it.
She's giving a personal explanation. Thank you. Sorry, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you. I would like not to be interrupted. Oh, okay. Can I start my time again?
Why not?
Why not? Lord Mayor, fellow councillors and the community of the City of Adelaide, and Mr Davis, who I notice is in the gallery tonight. I'm a councillor who submitted the complaint approximately 15 months ago. Since then, it has been examined, tested and investigated as per the report to an inch of its life. We all make mistakes. We all occasionally say or do things we later regret. But most people have the capacity to admit an error of judgment, apologise sincerely and learn from it. What concerns me most about this matter is that Mr Davis has shown no such insight or contrition. He continues to maintain that what he did was simply part of performing his role as a councillor. Let me explain what it felt like from my perspective. I was on my personal time. Former Councillor Elliott and I declared conflicts of interest concerning the special council meeting Mr Davis and others had called. We could not properly remain in the meeting even had we wanted to. It was about the 2022 election debacle. It was late, so I asked my colleague whether he wanted to get something to eat. We went to the Treasury, ordered dinner and had one glass of wine each on our own time and our own expense. I looked up and saw Mr. Davis filming us. I was aghast. I asked him several times to stop. He did not. I recall him smiling and grimacing, seeming to me to enjoy the distress he was causing. We eventually had to ask the waitstaff to intervene. They called their supervisor, and only after that intervention did Mr. Davis stop and leave. I recall one staff member describing the behaviour as creepy. That is precisely how it felt. But it didn't end there. Mr. Davis then posted the footage on social media and created the false impression that we were drinking instead of attending to our council responsibilities. And even then, it did not stop. Mr. Davis subsequently sent an email to us and copied it widely across the elected member body. Rather than reflecting on what he had done, he escalated the situation by again questioning our motives, our conduct, and our commitment to our roles as councillor. That email was totally inappropriate. It amplified an humiliation beyond social media and carried the accusation directly to our workplace and to our colleagues. It sought to portray us as councillors who had abandoned our responsibility, when the truth was that former councillor Elliott and I had properly declared conflicts of interest and could not participate in that special meeting.
Leave has been sought.
For me, the email demonstrated that this was not a momentary lapse of judgment. Mr. Davis had time to reflect, reconsider and apologise. Instead, he chose to repeat and broaden the attack. At the time, former councillor Elliott and I, we were living through an extraordinary, distressing period. We were Central Ward councillors caught up in the consequences of the 22 election, despite having done nothing wrong, as the judge's determination stated. The court ultimately voided the election and every councillor ward position was vacated. The filming occurred shortly before the court's final determination. To then be publicly portrayed as drinking in the bar, then turning up to work, was deeply distressing and damaging. For weeks afterwards, I found myself looking over my shoulder, wondering whether Mr. Davis might again be nearby with his camera. Mr. Davis frequently speaks out about making our city safer. He stated that the city is unsafe, but safety also means creating a workplace in which people, particularly women, are not secretly or persistently filmed after clearly asking for it to stop. It means not publishing their image, twisting the circumstances and publicly questioning their integrity. And Mr. Davis, when a woman says stop and a woman says no, you should listen to her. He apparently believes his conduct did not warrant an apology, as I have not received one. The community is therefore entitled to ask, is this the judgment, character and respect for others that we expect from someone seeking to be a future Lord Mayor?
Councillor Snape.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I also seek to make a personal explanation. I'll be somewhat briefer, but I appreciate the Deputy Lord Mayor's words and share the sentiment of them entirely.
Councillor, please don't talk across the chamber.
I was also
Councillor Kouros, Councillor Noon.
I was also one of the councillors targeted by the behaviour of Mr. Davis, which has been alluded to in the report, and it was been quite a distressing time, and it was a very intimidating feeling sitting down there in a restaurant after the official council meeting had finished. We had done our duty at that evening at the official council meeting. The special meeting, which was called afterwards by Councillor Davis, former Councillor Davis, was in relation to the Central Ward election, and specifically calling for a caretaker period, which is beyond the remit and the purview of this council to do. Now, at the time, myself, Councillor Martin and Councillor Giles released a statement saying it would be inappropriate to attend that meeting, given that the matter remained before the court, and we were, quote, mindful of acting in a way that would not offend the court. So we chose not to attend that meeting, which was called by Councillor Davis, because it would, in our view and opinion, offend the courts by doing so. After the official council meeting had finished, I then went next door to the Treasury restaurant and joined my colleagues, Deputy Lord Mayor Elliott at the time and Councillor Carmore Noon. And I joined them for dinner, not drinks. And we had a chat, enjoyed cordial time together after working hard at a previous meeting. Before, as reported in the report and in the words of Deputy Lord Mayor Noon, we were then filmed against our will, despite multiple requests to stop. This was then posted on social media and in a way that was targeted and persistent in accusations that we were not performing to doing our duties. Unfortunately, this narrative has persisted despite the complaint, and even after the complaint report was officially released, there are comments on social media persisting with that opinion from now Mr. Davis, and I have the screenshots recording that. I believe that now would be a matter for the Ombudsman, but I digress. The behaviour continues, and it is unfortunate. I have also not received an apology at this point. I must admit, I acknowledge that Councillor Davis has resigned from this council, and I do feel slightly safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kabada first, and then
Deputy Lord Mayor, I would just like to say I have waited for both Deputy Lord Mayor Councillor Noon and Councillor Snow to speak because I know they were named in the report. Seeing as Councillor Davis is no longer a councillor in the City of Adelaide, I ask that the motion before us be put.
that is a procedural motion.
Needs a second.
Is there a seconder? No, it's been lost through want of a seconder. It was lost through
Lord
want of a
Mayor,
seconder. You've already spoken, I think.
Before we proceed, just another procedural question. I didn't speak at the start of the motion, even though I moved it. 3.2, that Councillor Davis be required to issue public apology, etc., etc. Is that possible as there is no longer a Councillor Davis?
I understand that's required of a council member in office.
Through the presiding member, you need to look at the lead line of 3.
Yep.
Which is about noting the behavioural standards panels has made the following orders: 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 follow directly from the report.
That's correct. That is my understanding. But if we scroll down just a little bit further on this screen.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, what does he want to do?
It's not in the motion. It notes that should Councillor Davis not do that in the report, that we will need to make a referral to SACAT. Do we need to make a referral to SACAT as it is impossible for former Councillor Davis to deliver that apology?
We'll have to take advice on that because it's a difficult series of events, so we will take advice.
Okay.
Councillor Martin, then Councillor Kouros. Sorry.
That was my question of the administration, whether we've taken advice in respect of whether these recommendations expire with Councillor Davis's term, but if we're waiting for that advice, there's no point in asking.
We're awaiting extra advice on several matters. Thank you. Councillor Kouros.
I apologise to Deputy Lord Mayor. I was not laughing at what she said. I actually gave an ironic little smile because I know exactly how she feels when someone places your face on social media and implies that you have done something wrong in council without ever being able to respond to those messages on social media. So I guess maybe everyone in this chamber should look at their own behaviour before they start casting aspersions on other people. So in saying that, Lord Mayor, I was the whistleblower, to be really honest. I told Councillor Davis that Councillor Noon actually declared a conflict, as she should have, so had Councillor Elliott, but quorum was lost, Lord Mayor, without any explanation. Councillors...
Point of order, Lord Mayor. Quorum was not lost because it was never there to begin with. Quorum can only be lost if councillors leave the start meeting after it has started.
Quorum was lost. We can go back to the minutes if we need
I don't think we need to debate the...
Well, the explanations was given by councillors, but I think the true picture would need to be given,
I don't think we can
Lord
debate
Mayor.
the matter because the decision's been made.
It was, Councillor Abrahimzadeh and I walked across to the Treasury because we finished early because we didn't expect to, and there, lo and behold, were a councillor who caused the quorum to be lost.
Councillor, I don't think you're actually addressing the matter which is before us, which is
in
noting
saying that,
the matters.
Lord Mayor, I think that it needs to be very clear about what happened here and the intentional reasons.
Councillor, I really don't think we can relitigate the report. We're being asked to note the report.
Point of order, Lord Mayor. If the councillor wishes to defend Councillor Davis, that's her right.
Oh, no, I'm defending about what
Point of order, Lord Mayor. I actually feel rather uncomfortable that Councillor Kouros is now entering the debate in regards to how to put this. The excuse given by the former councillor in relation to her harassment, it's making me feel very uncomfortable, Lord Mayor.
I think the issue is that we are not debating the merits of the investigation. We're only noting the report.
Well, I'm noting the report that councillors have expressed, Lord Mayor, that they felt harassed, and I absolutely know that feeling, what it's like when other councillors harass you on social media.
Thank you. Councillor Marr.
Lord Mayor, I'll just read the minutes from that special meeting. They're very simple, and it's 3 lines.
Councillor, are you going to read the report to us now?
No, it won't take long.
It will.
Council meeting 25
It's many pages long. I don't think we have the energy
I'm not
for
reading the report, Lord Mayor.
Thank goodness.
The 25th of March special council meeting, item 1, adjournment of meeting. Pursuant to Regulation 7 of Local Government Procedures at Meetings Regulations 2013, the presiding member adjourned the special meeting of council due to the number of apologies received. The meeting has been adjourned until a time and date determined by the Chief Executive Officer, signed Lord Mayor. There was no quorum. Quorum was not gained. The meeting never started. Quorum was not lost.
I think that we have to seek leave for the meeting to continue past 8:30. Moved by Councillor Siebentritt, seconded by Councillor Freeman. All those in favour? All that's carried. Well, thank you. Now, let me go back to Councillor Marr.
I raised that as a point of order.
Were you summing up, or was that a point of order?
That was a point of order on basically an impeachment to the truth of a previous comment.
Point of order. Thank you. Councillor Noon, you've given a point of order, but you haven't. Sorry, you've given a personal explanation.
No, I just want to say that this wasn't about being harassed. That's belittling what actually happened.
Another personal explanation.
Yeah, this is not about being harassed on social media. This is about asking somebody who is filming you to stop, and you haven't given any authorisation to do that. That's not harassment.
Thank you.
That's illegal.
I think that we've all read this report, so we've all seen it. So can I just ask if we've got the motion before us. Councillor Marr, would you like to sum up? Summed up. So we will have the noting. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. We'll now move on to my report, which will be
12.4.
12.4. I got getting excited. I thought we were moving on. AIDA board selection. This panel selection, this is quite complicated. We need an alternate and a proxy. And that's so that there'll be a committee of 3 potential, and if either of any of the potentials are unavailable, there will be a proxy. I'm sorry, this is complicated. I'm going to... Sorry?
It's quite simple.
Quite simple, I'm told. I thought it was quite complicated. But obviously, my mind is a bit woolly at the moment. I'd like someone to move part 1, which is approves the appointment, moved by Councillor Abrahimzadeh.
Lord Mayor, can I have a clarification? This means the current panel members are still on the panel.
Yeah, the panel members still remain, seconded by Councillor Stephen-Tritt. If I could just explain, the positions on the board were extended by several months because the panel could not meet. They couldn't meet the quorum. And so, and this was not the fault of any of the panel members. It involved also the chair of AIDA, who were all away at various times, and it was a very difficult situation. So can I just have, we've got a mover and a seconder. Did we take the vote on part one? No. Can we take part one? All those in favour, which is approving, against, that's carried. So now we'll note the members, the method of appointing, and I'm going to ask people to nominate individuals to be on the selection panel as an alternate. So,
Moved and carried first.
sorry?
It needs to be moved and carried first.
I'm sorry?
2 needs to be moved and carried first.
Oh, sorry. Part two, which is the matter of the alternate decision, moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Freeman. All those in favour of part two? That's carried, thank you. Now we're going to ask for nominations for the alternate. Councillor Martin.
I nominate the Deputy Lord Mayor.
DLM nominated. Will you accept?
Accept.
Councillor Freeman.
I'd nominate Councillor Kabata.
Councillor Kabata, will you accept?
I would love to, Lord Mayor.
Accepted. Any other nominations? Councillor Marr.
Just a question, who's currently on the board? It's on the panel, sorry.
The current councillors are Councillor Giles and Councillor Kouros. So was there a third nomination? You're. This is the alternate.
Lord Mayor, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Unless there are any further nominations, you've got 2 nominees for an alternate and a proxy.
But there are different requests. I mean, different roles.
Either member happy to take a proxy?
I'm happy to take the alternate.
In that case, I nominate Councillor Marr into the mix. I want her.
Councillor Marr, are you happy to be nominated?
Sure, thank you.
Is that a yes?
I think so.
While we're about it, any other nominations?
I think the CEO had a great point just then, and he was trying to assist us to get this done without having to go to a vote.
We have 3 nominations now for 2 positions, so we will be voting.
For 1.
Oh, we're back on just the...
1.
Or for 1, okay. So we're going to have a ballot.
Sorry, Lord Mayor, can I just ask a question? I think there's a level of confusion here. So we already have Councillor Kouros and Councillor Giles.
And they remain on the panel.
They remain, and there is one additional position for one
person
human
who will be
being.
an alternate.
Yes,
So there'll be
just one.
3 potential panel members who are the first line of defence. If one of those 3, or if any of those 3 are unavailable, we will need to call on a proxy. No?
Lord, through the presiding member, this is a very simple process of...
We're not sure about that.
...of insurance to ensure that we have a valid selection panel to operate in the month of August to finalise appointment recommendations to council. That involves a 2-step process, a shortlisting meeting and then interviews. We need to be sure that we have a valid panel that can get together on the same day.
Well,
with the chair...
Just a moment, Councillor.
With the chair of AIDA. This is nothing more than an insurance policy.
Oh, well, when is the chair returning back from his holiday?
We don't know.
I understand the end of the first week in August.
So, we're sorry?
So we have 3 nominations.
I didn't hear, Lord Mayor, sorry.
First week in August.
I thought it was mid-August.
Well, it's not relevant for this matter, so... We're trying to achieve the capacity to organise a meeting, which we failed at miserably. So we have 3 nominations for the alternate. So we're going to have a ballot. So we've just got to do it. Can we take the voting slips, please? God. It is quite difficult. We're doing the alternates. We'll have proxies afterwards. I'd like everyone to get one piece of paper because we've been through this challenge before. We only have one piece of paper each. And can I just remind you that the nominated people are Councillor Kabada, Councillor Ma and Councillor Noon. And you have to put a cross in front of one name. And now they're going to be collected. So number 3, how does number 3?
Sorry,
No, that's the next motion, is getting nominations for number 3, or do we have to move 3?
we need to move through.
So we've moved 2, haven't we?
Yes. Move. It's been passed. Carry.
So while we're counting these votes, I'd like someone to move part 3, please. Moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Kabada. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Now let's try this again. We might just have to wait to see who has won this vote before we take votes on the second one.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Through the presiding member, in relation to the outstanding matter of the City Finance and Governance Committee recommendations, specifically the recommendation for the review of council delegations. I take the point that Councillor Martin has made. I don't think the delegations to AIDA have been appropriately explained through the report, and my recommendation is that the committee recommendation be moved with the removal of clause 2, which relates to AIDA delegations. All other delegations apply.
So we will have another delegation report for AIDA?
We will review what's required, noting that there is a process of sub-delegation that can ensure that the wheels keep turning.
So can we move back to this motion, if someone can do that?
Lord Mayor, there was another request for the track changes of that policy that was requested at the...
I think it was the same issue.
I'm happy to move as the CEO has suggested, because the track changes requested related only to the AIDA suggestion. So that is fine. And I'm happy to move.
Can we just put this correction? We're just taking out Adelaide Economic Development Agency.
Paragraph 2.
It's deleted?
Yes, strike through. Renumber, and we'll renumber the rest in the minutes.
So now, can I ask if Councillor Siebentrit's happy to move that?
I'll second.
Yes.
And seconded by Councillor Ma. We're renumbering everything. Is that okay?
Oh, well, that's mechanics. We can deal with that.
So we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? I'm sorry? If you want to, yes. If you must.
I just want to say that I won't be voting for this, not only because we did request for track changes. We did unanimously all say that within the committee, and I'd like to see the whole document. I cannot vote for something without seeing those changes.
I'm sorry, what was the issue with the track? I'm sorry, I didn't pick that up. What is the issue with the track changes?
Through the presiding member, the changes to delegations have been presented in a table as link 1 to the committee report, and that reflects track changes. The issue identified by Councillor Martin was not well explained about the creation of operational delegations for AIDA. What I've advised the chamber is that we can dispense with that for this evening because it's important that the other operational delegations for the whole organisation remain in place. Apart from the changes noted in link 1 to the committee report, which were relatively minor and reflect legislative change.
And these matters have to be dealt with because they're staff activities. So all those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members, for your indulgence. Have we got a result from our votes?
Based on a majority of votes, I declare Councillor Kabada elected as the alternate councillor for the operation of the AIDA Board Selection Panel.
So for number 3, we need to have a proxy. Let's have some nominations. Were the other members who?
I'd like to put in Councillor Ma.
Councillor Martin or Ma? Ma. Councillor Ma, you'll accept?
Thank you, yeah.
Councillor Martin's nominating Deputy Lord Mayor. Will you accept? So there are 2, Councillor
Freeman.
And Councillor Freeman, will you accept?
No, thank you, I'm very busy.
You won't accept? Okay, we need another ballot, please, and forms out again. There are 2 nominations. It's Councillor Ma and Councillor and Deputy Lord. Sorry? So Councillor has withdrawn, so we'll congratulate Councillor Ma, who is now the proxy. We finished.
Through the presiding member, based on the fact that there's only a single nomination for the proxy position, I declare Councillor Ma appointed.
Thank you. I'll move briefly on to my report, which will be very short. As it's the first council meeting after my leave, I particularly want to thank the Deputy Lord Mayor, who's not only chaired meetings but had an extraordinary civic range of activities in the last few weeks. I'll also acknowledge that the former councillor, Henry Davis, resigned from council. And in reflecting on the period that we've lived through in the last few months and few years, I do feel that we should be more positive about public office and life. We do need to be positive about the work we do as a council, the work the staff do, and the achievements that we have. And that does require, to a large extent, having constructive working relationships. I think that in the next 8 months, as we move towards the next election, there'll be a lot of headlines. But in fact, what really matters is the stuff that happens behind the scenes, the work the staff do, day in and day out, not always thanked, but to a very high standard. I think we should be more positive about our successes and not always seek to complain and undermine. And I would really encourage members to spend more time promoting and supporting the work of council, because what our staff do is outstanding. They do it continually with very little thanks. And it's worth remembering that their successes are our successes and any failures are ours entirely. So, thank you. So, Councillor Kabata's moved my report be noted. Thank you. All those in favour? All those against?
Seconder.
Sorry? Seconder. Councillor Snape seconded. Any other comments from 14, Councillors' reports? Deputy Lord Mayor, you've been very busy, I'm sure.
I had reported on most of that stuff, most of my activities last council meeting before I was really interrupted, but I did actually manage to get through it, except the one that I didn't talk to was the Adelaide Senior Citizen Support Program, and which brought together older members of the Chinese community, volunteers and community leaders to strengthen social connection, inclusion and wellbeing. And these people spoke very little English. So it is a fantastic group that's been brought together by the former Lord Mayor, Dr. Alfred Wong, thank you. And he established a support program. There were quite a few, there were over 100 people in the room, and it was something, it was such an eye-opener to me because everything had to be translated, and these were people, residents in the city. And it's such an important group, and I really acknowledge this amazing initiative that he commenced.
Thank you. Any other comments? No? We'll move on to the report be noted. Moved by Councillor Abraham, seconded by Councillor Kabata. All those in favour? Or against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Now, could I ask...
Lord Mayor, before we move on to the next item, am I able to provide a personal explanation?
Yes, please do.
Lord Mayor, I wanted to thank and acknowledge our Associate Director of Regulatory Services, who will be finishing up with the City of Adelaide at the end of this month. My understanding is that he's been with the City of Adelaide for 23 years. He's worked in a number of positions, in a number of departments, including People and Culture, Customer Experience, and now within the Regulatory Services team. I'm sure other elected members here have probably called him for assistance. I know for me, he's been on my speed dial sometimes. He looks after a number of important issues, including permits, outdoor dining, which does often come in the news. So I wanted to thank him and acknowledge his service and wish him all the best for the future. The next workplace is very lucky to have him, and he will leave big shoes to fill here in the City of Adelaide.
Yes, thank you. So we'll record that as a motion of thanks and served by acclamation, and it was seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. We've done it. Let's move on. Thank you very much, Steve. 14.1, we voted on. Motions we have. It's Councillor Kouros. It's your chance to speak about Melbourne Street.
No, I think we've got to go through mine first. Yeah.
Sorry?
It's to Steve, so he doesn't want to proceed.
Would you like to not proceed with yours, Councillor?
Yes, Lord Mayor, I wish to withdraw the motion before us.
Thank you very much. Councillor Kouros, 15.2. And you're seconded by Councillor Martin? Councillor Martin's very happy to second. Thank you. Councillor Martin, do you wish to speak? I don't think anyone's opposing this. All those in favour? Against? That's carried unanimously. Thank you, members. Can I ask if Councillor Kabada, sorry, it's Deputy Lord Mayor, 15.6.
15.4, Lord Mayor.
Well, 15.4 was not... I thought that 15.4 gave the point that this is not a council document. I'm sorry? Well, it has been accepted by the administration. I'm not quite sure why. I just assumed that it was not...
It's been accepted
right,
because it's not ultra various.
I think we'll call this ultra vires and move on.
No, not of governance. No, no, Lord Mayor, no.
Lord Mayor, I think it's very clear in the comment that this can happen.
Yeah, the CEOs or whoever wrote the recommendation said that it could be done, just with limited powers.
If it goes through, Lord Mayor, number 4, we'll just undertake.
Sorry?
If it goes through, we'll just undertake an investigation if the motion is carried.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
If the motion is carried, the CEOs indicate that.
Okay, all right. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Kouros, yes.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I wrote this motion based on what happened on In Daily and the Advertiser. I thought that what happened to Deputy Lord Mayor Councillor Noon, Councillor Snape and former Councillor Elliott was not good. The fact that the report was leaked before they had a chance to actually say their thoughts during this council meeting. And I think as we come to an election period, we need to be mindful that documents that shouldn't be leaked might be leaked. And Councillor Davis is not here. Some of you might think this is to defend him or support him. It's not. If I was in his position, I wouldn't be happy if a confidential report was leaked to the Advertiser or in Daily or whoever. What this report does is just, and I know that administration said in the comments that they review the process every quarter, but just to get an external investigator to come in and see if the report was leaked by someone within this administration or council and see ways to stop that. I do think it's quite serious, especially coming to an election period. And I think we should do everything in our powers to try and stop this from happening going forward.
Councillor Kouros?
I'm hoping that the Chamber will support this because this is actually about transparency. This is actually about governance. And we had a document that was leaked to the media prior to this Chamber actually seeing the document. And I think that is very poor form on the person that had done this. Now, I'm not accusing anyone, but I'm just saying that we have processes and we need to adhere to them. And this was, I believe this was also sent to the Advertiser as well. They've actually cited the document before this Chamber actually saw it. And I think that we need to, as a council, appear to be transparent to our community and know that we are onto it and that we are concerned and we have directed administration to look into this with the limited power that they have. And of course, anyone is welcome to direct this towards the Ombudsman.
So can I just draw... Sorry, have you finished speaking?
Oh, no, not me. You can speak.
Oh, well, I was to clarify something.
I might combat what you say, but I might, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, it's related to the wording. I'm a little concerned that Councillor Kabada said he wanted an external consultant. Did I mishear?
Whatever the CEO thinks is appropriate, Lord Mayor.
An external consultant?
Whatever the CEO thinks is appropriate.
Well, I think he thinks... Well, I'm not going to tell you what he thinks. So, Deputy Lord Mayor...
I to amend it to include an external consultant, Lord Mayor, and judging by how much we spend on that.
Is it my go?
I haven't finished, actually. I was interrupted.
Sorry, I was just...
I allowed her to speak, but I was interrupted.
I do think that there is a challenge here because there are avenues of investigation open.
Right. Well, then I'm happy to amend it to include that.
No, but I think there is an issue that we have no jurisdiction over this. And I do think that my view was that it was ultra vires, but...
So requesting the Chief Executive Officer to engage an external...
No, you don't get it.
Oh, it's all right. Don't get frustrated, CEO. I'm just trying to understand what we're doing.
Through the presiding member, if I can draw your attention to paragraph 4 of the administration comment. Should you resolve that I undertake an investigation, the scope, methodology and any reporting would need to consider our jurisdiction in the first instance. Go to the first point. It's not our document. It's a document of the Behavioural Standards Panel. Available evidence, which would be limited to an examination of council systems, privacy obligations and any legal constraints. You can instruct me to appoint an independent investigator. They will have no power of inquiry.
People can continue leaking documents and continue...
I think that there are mechanisms
without
through
any
ICAC.
power from you, CEO.
No, Councillor, I think there's
Without
ICAC.
you investigating internally anything.
No, I think in this case, we will have to go to ICAC or the Ombudsman, but we don't have the power to investigate.
Well,
so this is a very shallow investigation.
Can we direct administration to have the Ombudsman investigate it? Can they put in the application?
No, we've got no jurisdiction.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So can I just see if there's anybody who wishes to debate this further? We'll put it... Councillor Noon.
I have another personal explanation, and also I would not support this for the very reasons that you actually just said. This is not our report. It's clear what administration has said. We did not administer. It rests with the Behavioural Standards Panel. And I want to say, Lord Mayor, I wish to place something on public record. I was not the source of the disclosure of the Behavioural Standards Panel report or any confidential information contained in that report to InDaily, Stolzis Media, any journalist or any other media organisation. I did not authorise, encourage, procure, assist or knowingly facilitate that disclosure, and I had no prior knowledge that the information would be published. Given the seriousness of this matter, I have made a formal statutory declaration to that effect. It has been certified by my lawyer and I will provide it to the Chief Executive Officer and Governance for the official record and for consideration as part of any properly authorised investigation. I was not the source of the disclosure.
Thank you. Councillor.
Lord Mayor, ditto.
Lord Mayor, can I say I wasn't either?
Thank you for that. Councillor Mark, then Councillor Freeman, and then I think we should put it to the vote because we'll be here all night.
Yes. I spoke with Councillor Cabada earlier today about this motion, and we discussed many of the things that the CEO has just advised us of. But there is one aspect that the CEO does have the delegated authority to do, which is internal systems, as he said. And what I'd like to suggest that we maybe look at as far as not this particular motion, but ongoing operations, is our email security tagging. At the moment, with our email system, they are just emails. There's no official marking, there's no sensitive marking, no confidentiality, top secret, etc. These are built-in functions that can be used
Point of
in
order,
Microsoft
Lord Mayor.
Office.
What is your point of order?
It's not in line with the motion. We're not asking to investigate all our emails.
That's exactly what this motion is asking us to investigate.
Arrangements for handling confidential.
On a particular matter.
No, Councillor, I reject your point of order because it's Councillor Mars discussing arrangements for handling confidential information.
Thank you. Now, that would obviously be the most prominent system that we would use, is our email system. And at the moment, we don't really have a great way of handling that. I don't really think we need to do this as per the motion put in front of us, but I do think that what this highlights is a systematic deficiency that we should probably look at from an operational level. And I thank Councillor Cabada for bringing that to our attention in this matter.
So, Councillor Freeman, did you have your hand up? No. Well, no, please don't.
Only to say, I agree this is really serious. I agree we need to uphold transparency, but we have no idea if this was council. This puts the onus on us to investigate that someone here leaked this. We don't know that. It's a behavioural standards panel matter. We should write a letter to them or give them a ring.
So would you like to sum up, Councillor Kabata?
Yeah, Lord Mayor, I mean, if we've got nothing to hide, let's just give the CEO access to all of our emails, then he can go through them and then determine if there was a leak. I mean, if there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to hide. Lord Mayor, I thank members for the debate, but not one member tonight stood up and said that it was acceptable that a confidential report about members of this council appeared in a newspaper before this council saw it. Not one person defended it, because it's not defensible. What I have heard is that it is difficult, that the document was not ours, and that it would take some staff time. All of that is true, but none of that is a reason to do nothing. I want to repeat that this is not about blame. We have not accused anyone, and I did not intend to. There is a process, but something in that process failed, and this motion simply asks that we check our own end to make sure. Part 3 is entirely within our powers, and nobody has disputed it. If we do nothing else tonight, we should do that. And remember who was named. Councillor Noon, Councillor Snape, former Councillor Elliott. None of them chose to have their experience published, and none of them could stop it. If we will not act when our own members are exposed like that, I'm not sure what it would take. I don't understand the hesitation between getting the CEO to, even if it is limited, get him to go and do it, get him to go and see what can be done, and if anything appears, then we know something. If he comes back with nothing, then he comes back with nothing. I think if we're hesitant for him to do something, there must be something we must be scared of. I ask members to support the motion.
Councillor, would you...
Procedural, Lord Mayor, can we take it in parts?
No, I was going to ask Councillor Kabata, can we take it in parts? I think you'll at least get one up if you had
Yeah, Lord Mayor, why not? Nothing to lose.
You're happy in parts?
I'm happy if you're happy.
Number one, part 1. All those in favour of part 1? Against? That's carried. Did you vote, Councillor Martin? You voted against? Well done. Yes. Number 2, requests the CEO to investigate. A division on part 1, yes. Are any of
Members,
you girls in charge?
Sorry.
What's going on?
A division.
God.
A division has been called in relation to part 1 of item 15.4. Please stand in favour of the motion until your name has been called. Councillor Kabata, Councillor Snape, Councillor Kouros, Councillor Mark, Councillor Freeman, Councillor Siebentreut, Councillor Noon, Councillor Abrahamstein. Thank you.
Motion's carried. Part 2, all those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, this is so exciting. Against? There is an equivalence. Is there? Oh no, can we take it again? I obviously can't count. 5, 4 against. Oh, that's carried. So, a division's been called. I got quite excited. I thought I'd be voting.
Members, a division has been called in relation to part 2 of item 15.4. Please stand in favour of the motion until your name has been called. Councillor Kabata, Councillor Kouros, Councillor Marr, Councillor Siebentreut, Councillor Abrahamstein.
Part 3, all those in favour? Against? That's carried. A division's been called.
Members, a division has been called in relation to part 3, item 15.4. Please stand in favour of the motion until your name has been called. Councillor Kabata, Councillor Snape, Councillor Kouros, Councillor Marr, Councillor Siebentreut, Councillor Noon, Councillor Abrahamstein.
15.6, Councillor. Sorry? That's.
What was the count?
That's carried. Councillor Noon, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor, this motion is fundamentally about giving certainty to long-standing organisations that consistently deliver strategic, cultural, economic and community value to our city. Councillor Aida already recognised the benefits of long-term funding through a number of 3-year strategic partnership agreements. However, other established organisations that Council has supported over the many years are still required to return annually and seek funding again, even where their relationship with Council and their contribution to the city are ongoing. I'm aware that we have organisations that has a long-standing relationship with the City of Adelaide, delivers programs that support citizenship, recognition, volunteering, community participation and belonging throughout the year. Administration has confirmed that it currently operates under a 1+1 year arrangement, which is effectively a 3-year relationship, but without the same degree of certainty as a fixed 3-year agreement. More recently, Council also approved a 3-year funding agreement associated with Chinatown that recognised that an organisation can properly plan and deliver significant cultural and community programs if it does not know from 1 year to the next whether the funding will continue. 3-year certainty allows an organisation to develop and implement a meaningful strategic plan, retain capable staff and enter into responsible contractual commitments, secure venues, sponsors and delivery partners, etc. This is not a proposal to provide organisations with an unconditional blank cheque, nor is it suggesting that every recurrent grant recipient would automatically receive a 3-year agreement. Any multi-year arrangement would include clear criteria, annual performance reporting, measurable outcomes, proper acquittal requirements and clauses recognising Council's annual budget process. I acknowledge Administration's observation that multi-year commitments may reduce the amount of funding available for new applicants. That is a legitimate consideration. However, stability and openness do not have to be mutually exclusive. Council can maintain a competitive funding pool while also recognising that some organisations have established strategic and enduring relationships with the cities that warrant a different funding model.
She's got red hair.
Importantly, this motion does not approve any new 3-year agreement tonight. It simply asks administration to provide Council with a full picture who already has multi-year funding with organisations have received annual funding on a regular basis, what criteria should apply and which organisations may be suitable for a long-term arrangement. For organisations that demonstrated long-term value, good governance and consistent delivery, funding certainty supports better planning, stronger accountability and better outcomes for our city. I commend this motion.
So I think Councillor Cabana had his hand up, did he? To second it?
No, to speak.
Councillor Snape, I'm sorry. Do you wish to speak, Councillor Snape?
I was in my right.
Councillor Cabana, did you have your hand up? Am I dreaming? I thought you...
You had a long flight, Lord Mayor. It must have been an awful...
If you don't want to speak, I don't want to encourage...
No, I've just got a few questions.
You don't have to speak.
I understand, Lord Mayor, thank you. I've just got a few questions. Through the Chair, I want to ask administration for a very thorough comment. Can I confirm my readings of paragraph 6, that there are currently no strategic partnerships receiving single-year funding through the program and therefore none available to transition to a 3-year agreement?
True.
Okay. And through the Chair, and in paragraph 8, can administration confirm the Australia Day Council already holds a 1+1+1 year agreement, effectively a 3-year arrangement?
That's technically correct on the basis that it's a 1+1+1 based on approval in a budget by the City of Adelaide.
Thank you, CEO. Through the Chair, could administration remind the Chamber how Council's role in relation to AIDA as a Section 42 subsidiary is ordinarily distinguished from the responsibility for the AIDA Board, particularly in relation to funding decisions made under a competitive program?
I don't propose to enter debate, Councillor.
Thank you, CEO.
But we're very impressed you've read the report.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. And through the Chair, is this a resourcing question rather than a criticism? What additional work would the October report involve beyond the information already set out in tonight's comments?
Councillor Freeman's got her hand up. No? Sorry, can I have some advice?
It'll take a bit of staff time to pull the report together, but everything that's being asked for, we can ultimately provide.
Thank you. I would like to move an amendment to the motion. And my amendment just gives Councillor Noon the information she was seeking tonight rather than in October, and it protects the competitive process that lets new organisations in, and I commend this to members. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Gosh, that's a lot of...
I've just spoken to it as well.
That's not an amendment, that's an alternative.
I think that might, Councillor, I was so excited you'd read the report, but this is maybe not an amendment. I think this might be an alternate.
Oh, sorry, Lord Mayor, I must have forgotten I wrote a alternate motion.
I think that what you've done is you've summarised much of the report, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right.
I would like to help you, but I'm not sure that I can. I don't think we can accept that, can we?
Not as an amendment.
I'm sorry. If you'd had a phrase or a few words, it would have been fine, but that's just beyond it, sorry.
If you want to help me, Lord Mayor, I'd be happy to seek your expertise.
I think the easiest thing might be to vote against the motion because, as you point out,
Foreshadow the alternate.
you've foreshadowed the alternate.
Oh.
So if we could vote against the motion, if you could vote against the motion, it was lost, you would foreshadow the alternative.
Okay, well, I might just speak to the motion then, Lord Mayor.
Which one?
The Carmel's motion, Deputy Lord Mayor's motion.
Is he still on track?
I'm okay to speak? No, I was just asking questions.
Yes, please do.
Yes, so Lord Mayor, I want to start by thanking administration because the comments on this item is generally thorough and they've done a great job. I know this matter was listed for the 9th of June and it was withdrawn on that night, and it returns to us tonight. And if they intervened 7 weeks, administration has gone and gathered information anyway. Paragraph 5 names the 6 organisations currently in 3-year agreements. Paragraph 7 sets out the eligibility and assessment criteria in full with the link in the motion, with the link to the published guidelines. Paragraph 8 tells us that the Adelaide Council, the example named in the motion, already holds what is effectively a 3-year arrangement. And paragraph 6 confirms that there are no strategic partnerships on single-year funding that could be transitioned at all. So I do not think that this is a case of the council needing more information. I think it is a case of having council having already received it. And that is why, with respect, I cannot support asking administration to assemble the same materials a second time and bring it back in October. I want to be fair to the intent behind the motion. Organisations that deliver real value to the city should not have to rebuild the case from scratch every single year. And there is a genuine cost to that instability. Councillor Noon has asked a reasonable question and he has produced a useful answer. My point is only that we now have it. There is also a principle worth holding on to. Competitive funding exists for a reason. It gives any organisation or company with a good proposal a genuine chance on merit. It keeps proposals sharp and it tests the value for money rather than assuming it. Anyway, I'll just get on to the bottom part. What this motion asks is that council identify particular organisations that might be suitable for multi-year agreements under a program AID administers through a competitive process. With respect, that is reaching past the board and into operations. If we start doing that, we invite every organisation that misses out to lobby this chamber rather than put it in a better proposal. And that is not a road I want to go down. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kouros, are you going to speak against the motion?
No, I just want to understand, if the question has been answered, if this is what administration is saying in their recommendation, if what she's requesting to understand has been answered, what report are we looking to seeking here?
So I think that there is an argument against voting for the motion now, but...
I understand that, Lord Mayor, but if I want to know if I'm going to vote for a report, what more is administration going to offer besides what's in the recommendation?
I think that's a difficult one to answer.
Through the presiding member, I can only refer you to paragraph 9 of the administration comment.
Councillor Freeman, and then I think we might put it to the vote.
Yes, maybe. So just a question, first of all, Lord Mayor, noting that the report identifies there's no strategic partners supported through fixed 3-year funding agreements. Is part 1 ultra-vires? Yes?
I think it's only noting, it's not a decision, is it? It's just, it's noting.
But it'll be noting something that's false.
Sorry?
It would be noting something that's incorrect. That doesn't matter.
I think it is true that it is true. It's not ultra vires. I think it's.
That's fine. I'm very sorry, but I want to amend this.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. It'll be quick. I promise it'll be painless. Look, and the reason for that is what Deputy Lord Mayor has brought to us is to start the conversation about multi-year funding, because there are organisations out there who say it is so hard and onerous to apply for funding every year to the point where they just go, it's too hard, I'm not going to bother again, I'm not going to do something in the City of Adelaide. I actually, well, sorry, yeah, I should get to that. Do I need to second it?
Can I just explain, the problem is that the motion talks about strategic partners, and the phrase strategic partners has a specific meaning.
It does, bear with me.
So you'd have to change the whole purpose of the motion to get rid of the strategic partners.
I just want to get rid of 1. 2's fine, keep 3, and then 4 is just bring a report back.
Can you say it again? You've lost me.
Right,
Sorry.
delete 1, get rid of that one.
We'll take it in parts and deal with it.
But the reason why I want to amend 4 is because I would like a report to come back about this stuff, so we can talk about multi-year funding, but without all of the narrative about transitioning. So just
explain to us again what you're removing, because you've lost me. I'm sorry, it's late.
All right, so 1's gone. See you, Rory. 4, just delete after request the report be presented to council, blah, 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 and the committee meeting, full stop. Yeah. And I guess just a question to the administration, does this allow for a general conversation about multi-year funding? It doesn't limit it to strategic partners.
Can we accept that?
It's a valid amendment.
Valid amendment. Do you have a seconder, Councillor Couros? Go for it, Councillor.
That's it. I would love to make it easier.
Councillor Couros, have you spoken? You're making me... Has Councillor Couros...
Just questions.
Just questions, okay. Would you like to speak, Councillor, or... Shall we just put it to the vote? Sorry?
I just want to say that this was never about just, I suppose when I thought of strategic partners, I didn't specifically think of AIDA. I actually saw it as partners that are strategically aligned to council. That's probably coming from my world. And at the end of the day, it was not about just strategic partners in the sense that obviously council defines it. So it was like Australia Day Council. So it's not just, and Chinatown and all of those organisations that actually have been with us for a long time and should not have to actually just, apply for funding year on, year out. So this amendment, in a sense, does align to and I did actually ask administration for some help on this. So it was not, and this was the 9th of June. I pulled it because everyone was so tired that I did them all a favour. But at the end of the day, this was the first opportunity I could actually put it back on the agenda.
I think we're getting close to the need of a favour this evening.
I know, but it's just annoying in a sense because this is about fairness and equity. This is about people being able to, organisations being able to plan their 3-year strategic plans. And so, absolutely, it's not just about AIDA.
Thank you. So we'll take this amendment from Councillor Freeman, and the amendments are to delete 2 parts of part 1 and part of 4. So all those in favour of the amendment? Against? The amendment's carried. That now becomes the motion. Councillor Martin, are you... You're moving. Now let's vote for the motion. All those in favour of the motion? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's against. That's carried. Thank you. So that's passed. Let's move on to item 19. Oh, sorry, that's a bit cheeky. I don't know if anybody wishes motions without notice. Councillor. Yes. Oh.
Thank you. Hopefully this will be a very quick question. I asked a question on notice regarding...
Questions without notice.
No, we're not to question.
I'm still doing motions without notice.
Oh,
sorry.
I thought we did that already.
No motions without notice. The questions on notice are tabled. Now we'll move on to questions without notice.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I asked a question about the trees in the parklands and got quite a comprehensive response, which I was very happy with. Thank you. I did have one clarifying question at part 12. I asked about the aesthetic record, and I was given a pretty good explanation of how that works with the use of the data in forestry and then into aesthetic, and then that then feeds into our public urban tree map. I guess I'm asking for an explanation of, if the forestry data goes to aesthetic on a weekly basis, how often does aesthetic go to the urban tree map?
Are we able to answer that, or do we have to take it on notice?
Take it on notice.
Take it on notice, I apologise.
And then perhaps something else to take on notice is, could we undertake to have that urban tree map, the public one, 100% accurate at a point in time, and then report that point in time on the map?
It's been taken on notice. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry
Thank
about that. So let's move on to...
Question without notice, if I may, Lord Mayor, and I thank the administration for their answer on city parking. Am I to believe from the report not only that on-street parking in the City of Adelaide has grown by another 300 spaces in the course of this year, but the number of parking spaces on-street and off-street in the City of Adelaide now exceeds 54,000, again a record?
I'd have to ask...
Presiding member, I think that's consistent with the administration reply.
So we have double the number of parking spaces that we have residents.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll move on now to item 20. 19.
It's the exclusion order.
This is the exclusion order with two parts for part 20 and 21.1. Moved by Councillor Kabada, seconded by Councillor Marr. All those in favour of 20? That's carried. And again for 21, Councillor Kabada, Councillor Marr. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. On exclusion of members of the public, they've